What's up, everyone? Welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. We have a special guest today. We got Patrick.
Hey.
And of course, you have me, Jalissa, and you have the boys. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
So we got Patrick back.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
For the real fans. You know, back in the day when we first started this show, the only person who would watch us for so many weeks was this guy right here.
Not even for so many weeks. Patrick was consistently our only viewer.
He was always
like,
commenting on the
for
on
like
the videos.
70 episodes. Patrick was our only viewer.
I've never seen such support. No, but for real, it's like I want everybody listening and everybody watching to know that this is my guy right here. He's a real good guy, and I want to give him his flowers because it's graduation season, and he is a Latino male who is graduating and is a proud graduate of San Francisco State. Look at him, he's glowing.
You didn't wear a sweater.
He's in LA. He's gonna get shot.
First off, thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. You guys have come so far. I've seen you guys grow. You guys are in the thousands. It's crazy. It makes me want to cry sometimes.
Thank
you.
And I'm glad to have helped you all. And for the school thing, bro, school sweaters are like $180. You really think I'm gonna drop 100?
Bro, why not?
Is it really? Is a hoodie really
They're
100?
they came up in price right now. They're like
You gotta wait until you graduate because I think with us on like the last weeks we get a discount, so you guys probably
I
get a discount.
I hope so.
But I mean, I don't know. San Francisco State is no Cal State Fullerton though.
Bro, you know it's crazy. I didn't even realize you were wearing a Cal State Fullerton.
You
Come on,
see,
man.
you should
Come
have
on. I
worn
had
your
to sneak it
SF
in.
State.
I had to sneak that in there.
I have a
a
Bay
real
base
college.
where I used to work in the Bay.
I guess there's something. You know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
What's the mascot of San Francisco State?
It's a gator. Gator, go Gators.
Are there any Gators in?
No, not
So
anymore. Like the lore.
Oh, there used to be the lore.
There used to be,
lore.
there used to
There
be
used to
Gators
be.
in San Francisco.
In the area that San Francisco State was, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
It was like a marsh swampland before,
Really, I did not
And
know.
so-
I did not know that.
but now it's like neighborhoods and shit.
I think even like if you go to the campus, the library is shaped as an alligator
not literally,
or like a gator head.
You said not really?
It's like a Minecraft gator.
Yeah.
That's what it looks
Oh,
like.
okay. That's so cool.
Minecraft
I fuck with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
There was something else. Something I think they were talking about like the bridge or something, and something about like the headline. So then that's when they started like naming it like gator because it's not alligator or the gator's called Allie the gator.
Oh wow, how creative! How does it feel? Comparing it to like LA, like having grown up in LA, how does it feel to go to the richest place in the fucking country?
It's expensive, I'll tell you that. As a Latino, it's first gen. If your parents came over here, right?
Yeah.
Latino first gen. It's pretty tough, but I'm trying to beat the statistics. I haven't graduated yet. I need one more semester.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it, people. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna beat the odds.
Everybody believes in you, bro.
How does it feel to be away like from your family and your friends?
Oh, he's gonna start crying. No.
No. I've stoicism, bro.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's hard. There's times where I have like, I want to quit. I want to go back home, but I came here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be the NBA 2K champion 2024. I'm just kidding.
Do you like it though? Do you like it out there?
I love it. I love it out there. It still doesn't beat home, but like as far as the landscaping and everything, it's a beautiful city.
Would you move there?
If you had the money, would you move there?
Yeah,
You
I
would?
I would.
And bro, I'm telling you, Brandon doesn't believe. He's a.
Brandon, I really want you to.
He's not a believer. He hates San Francisco.
No, I believe it's cool, but probably overhyped. In my opinion.
For your graduation, we'll do a whole like trip.
I'll go for his graduation.
We'll do a whole trip.
Yeah.
No, we should go during summer.
You know what I looked up this morning? I don't know why. Do you guys remember when I sent you guys on TikTok the furry convention and that people were saying they were cool? I was like, I actually kind of do want to go and like vlog. It's in San Francisco. So
I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'm down to go for that too.
I'll go with you.
You guys gonna go to San Francisco for a furry convention? You know what? We did.
I can
It's
show.
just kind of funny. Like, not the Kendrick concert. Like, no, I gotta go see the furries. Like, that's my number one A1.
Once
That's
in a
what he wants to
lifetime.
see.
Once in a lifetime.
I
bro.
guess so. Yeah, we did do a whole segment on them back in the day, and
For the
they
real
seem pretty
fans,
cool.
For the real
Yeah.
fans. The real fans.
For the
If you
OG.
know, you know.
There's a music festival going on. And
For
that's-
furries?
No, it's
Oh.
it's like headlining Kendrick and all.
Oh
that.
yeah,
The
outside lands. I want to go.
That's what I was talking
Well,
about.
because
Yeah.
I was debating whether to go to outside lands or go to Camp Flognog. But I mean, outside lands is already like their Kendrick Lamar is headlining. Like he's headlining day one. So I was kind of like,
Yeah,
should I risk it?
I really fuck with Kendrick. Me and him are like this. We're like this, bro. For real. It's like he hits me up all the time.
He
about the show.
doesn't talk about you much to me.
It's okay because
He's always like-
it's because he
he's
values our friendship. He's very private. He's
No,
very private.
every time I'm like, bro, you should come out, and he's like, is Steve going? I'm good.
No. It's not even. He's clowning me. You know when your homies just clown on you. Patrick, you know how I always
okay,
clown on you.
Okay,
Yeah, bro,
okay.
like you-
Yeah.
Sometimes
Okay,
I cry
sure.
about it, but
Yeah,
Is it?
but it's funny, right? At the end of the day, it's funny.
sure.
Oh no, I
sure.
was gonna say, isn't Cigarette After Sex also gonna be there? I know Lana Del Rey is gonna
think
be
so.
there.
Isn't Post Malone also gonna be there?
I don't know.
I feel like
That
Post
one I
Malone
don't
is
know.
there.
I haven't heard him, but
You guys know so much about music. I feel like I'm so uneducated. I'm like an
You
old
are,
head.
bro. You are, bro.
you
Oh, okay.
Name me 5 songs from Nirvana.
Nirvana.
Oh no, I got this. Buddy Holly. Undone.
Can't help falling in love with you.
Mm-hmm,
And what's that new one? The Redbone. I think that one. Redbone.
I don't know. Buddy Holly's my favorite.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, right.
Good try.
Thank you. I tried my best. I'm trying my best.
I'm dead.
No, yeah,
But-
but
So what do we got for Patrick?
yeah.
We got him here to grill him.
Yeah, Patrick, because you weren't here because he was off doing his journey, getting his degree. Like I hope a lot of you are.
Spiritual journey.
Yeah, he went on a spiritual journey that is a time that's a whole other episode for another time.
Maybe the Patreon. We'll do it on Patreon.
Yeah, the Patreon. But you missed out on us deep diving into the psychology of women.
Oh,
And so-
I've seen.
So we wanted to
I've
catch you up by asking you some hard hitting questions all about the women, the feminine, our better halves.
Women are beautiful.
better.
All women are beautiful.
Yes, true. Julie, what you got for him?
I
What you got?
have a very important question.
Okay.
If you were a girl, would you let the homies hit?
That's we gotta start off. Yeah, warm you up. You know,
Yeah.
warm you up.
Israel said no.
He said no.
I tried to convince him.
Stevie
otherwise,
also
but he
said no, right? He
He
said
was-
he's
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
hoe.
I think
He
I'm
said
not-
he's not a
He was
hoe.
just being a sheeple. He was being a sheeple.
Oh my bad. Yeah, I was being a beta male.
Because Israel said no.
I think I'm gonna agree with Israel on this one.
You wouldn't let the homies hit. You're fake as fuck, bro.
Sheeple.
What?
Sheeple.
You're my
What?
homie. You're not. You're my homie.
What does that mean?
Like,
you never heard people say sheeple?
Like you're a sheep. Like you follow the herd.
shit. No, but like you guys are.
Do you
guys
think
are
you'd be
my
a pretty girl?
homie.
Do you
I
think you'd
think
be a pretty?
I feel like
You think you'd be hot?
nah. I wouldn't be hot, but I would be cute.
Nah,
I think I would be cute.
He's just saying that because he doesn't want to let anybody hit.
You said you wouldn't be hot, but you'd be cute.
I'd be cute.
That's an interesting one.
I'd be
Nah,
cute.
you'd be cute. I can see it.
It's the glasses.
Yeah.
It's like
It's you're gonna be a Latina too,
definitely.
and you're gonna be a
I'll be a Latino, but they'll probably think I'm Filipino.
so they'll fetishize you.
Because like a lot
They'll
when I lived
fetishize
up there and I worked up there, everybody thought I was Filipino. I was like, I'm not Filipino.
You know, that's what's crazy about the Bay though, is that there really is like a lack of like a Latino presence. Because I remember when we went up there, our homie Izzy, who is like Mexican descendants, we were buying some beers at the liquor store. I don't know if you remember
I
this,
remember this.
but the cashier was like, "Hey, like, where are you from?" And Izzy's like, "What do you mean?" Like, "Oh, I'm from LA." He's like, "No, but like, where are your parents from? Like, what's your ethnicity?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm Mexican." And he's like, "Wow, like I've never seen anybody like look like you." and I remember Izzy was like, "Oh, thank you." He was like, "Are you
We're
hitting on me?"
exotic, bro.
No, yeah. but So did it feel isolated as like a Mexican?
Sometimes. It kind of didn't force me, but like I listened to more Spanish music, like more stuff of like what my parents used to listen to.
Oh,
like
really?
Los Tigres del Norte, all those other bands. Like
Yeah.
I never thought I would
Like
be listening
regional
to that.
music,
Yeah,
right?
regional music. But I was like, this shit slaps. This shit hard.
Bro, you know what's weird? The older I get, the more I start listening to the music that my parents used to listen to, like regional music, and like the more I'm like, damn, like this fucking hits. Like especially the songs, like the talk about like drinking and like losing a girl. I'm like, fuck, like,
I wouldn't.
this shit hitting.
I wouldn't say there's like a lack of Latino, but that's true. It's like a minority still up there because the majority it's Asian and white and black. That's the majority up there, and it kind of forced me to better my Spanish. I'm not good with Spanish, but it for people who like didn't know a lot of English, in my job, I would have to like force myself to understand them, and it worked. And I feel like now, I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it, but I'm more fluent because I'm forced to like.
I feel that, bro.
That's
That's cool.
That's definitely me too. Like, I feel like at my job, I work with nothing but older, like Mexican dudes, and they only speak Spanish. So I feel like it's forced me to get better at my Spanish. You know, it's weird. I don't know if you can relate to this. I feel like my Spanish has gotten better. Like I understand, and there's never been a case where I don't understand a word that somebody says. But I feel like it's my accent. Like my accent is what really fucks me up. Like I can speak, like I know the words for every single Spanish word that I'm trying to say, but like it's my accent that trips me up.
You feel like you sound like, come on, hey, stop.
Yeah. So, and it sucks because sometimes like there's times where I'm so proud of myself. Do you ever have this where there's just that one customer who speaks Spanish and you know your accent's on point, you're hitting every single word, and then they're like, okay, thank you, and the like interaction ends, and you're like, fuck yeah, like he probably thinks I speak like fluent Spanish, but
all
like
the fucking time, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, my parents would be proud.
Exactly, yeah. But
No, I remember when I was in San Francisco, I feel like when my parents would go and like pick me up to like come back during breaks, I remember I started stuttering. Like I couldn't speak Spanish anymore because I was so used. Because like I was away for a good while. So when I would like finally speak Spanish, because yeah, like it's just there's a lack of that, and it's just like you don't get to see a lot of like Latinos there. For at least when I was there too, and so I don't get to use or speak Spanish as much. And so when I would like meet up with my parents, I legit started stuttering. Like I remember the first time I was like, what the fuck? I don't know Spanish anymore. Like I just couldn't like speak properly anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being so pissed at myself. And that's why I kept listening to Spanish music too, because I was like, I need to continue like improving on my Spanish, because I'm like, I'm starting to lose it. And that was the first time I realized it, when like my puppy picked me up, and like I remember I was like, I can't talk.
I don't understand what they're saying.
I mean, I understood them. I just couldn't speak.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't speak Spanish anymore.
Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke, because sometimes I have like two customers waiting on me, and one of them's like an American who like only speaks English, and one of them's like you could tell was an immigrant and only speaks Spanish, and so it trips me up because like. Well, I'm talking to one of them, and then one of them comes up like, "Oh, hey, like I need a service," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and then I speak in English, and then I immediately have to transition to Spanish. I literally feel like one of my eyes like goes lopsided. Like I literally feel like I'm gonna like a computer, like my brain is gonna crash, and it trips me the fuck out.
I hate the moment when like I can finally use my Spanish and I just blank out. Like I hate those moments, especially at work, where like they're talking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, okay, this is my moment, and then like I just completely blank out, and I'm like, I don't remember anything.
I don't even remember English anymore.
It's funny because my mom, she's taking English classes now, and she asks me all the questions. And
oh, your mom's that's cool.
Yeah, she's taking English classes now, and she tells me it's hard, and I'm like, I don't blame you, because remember how we used to take French in high school, and like it was kind of easy because of the sentence structures. English literally throws that shit away and like mixes everything up. And when we were on the drive home from San Francisco, the song "I Did It My Way" by Frank Sinatra was playing, and my mom was like, "What does he mean? Like, I did it my way?" And I'm like, I was trying to tell her, like, help her pronounce it. I was like, I did it, and she's like, it sounds like didn't, like DIDNT. And I'm like, I see what you're saying, but it's like I did it. I was like, it's the sentence structuring and like the pronunciation is really difficult for them, and I feel bad for it because like. It's like, Mom, I understand. It's like just English it's different sentence structure compared to like Spanish and all that.
No, yeah, I heard that like if you were born with just growing up with English, you got lucky, because English people say is one of the hardest languages in the world to learn.
Really?
Yeah. So like,
it's the hardest. I find it to be the easiest.
I heard that.
I mean, exactly right. Like,
no, I've heard too that English is a pretty hard language to learn,
because it's super confusing, right?
Yeah.
Because the like certain words, like they don't.
I think
there's no like hard rules, right?
Yeah, I
Shit
think
like that.
even like, is it either it's the CH or the SH doesn't exist on like certain languages, so the ch, like that sound, or like I forget what it's called, but whatever it is, doesn't exist for like certain things. So like when people say it, they're like, they don't in their head, they're like, how does that make a ch sound? I think it's that. I don't know. I don't know the exact thing.
Yeah,
but
you know what trips me out in Spanish? How the double L makes like a Y sound,
Yeah,
like llanta.
like llaves.
Yeah, like llaves too.
It's weird.
Yeah, like
'Cause
that. The first time I remember I noticed it was I was like a little kid, and since I was always around like mechanics and like car parts, somebody said we repair like llantas, and it had the double L, and I was like, we repair like
Lantas?
I know, like lantas. What the fuck is that? Then I'm like, oh, like I guess the double L makes like a Y. I remember like a little ass kid when I discovered that.
that's funny.
Like I still like I don't understand how to text in Spanish. Like I try my
Bro,
best.
that shit is so hard
Like
for
from
me
my
too.
mom because she always texts me in Spanish.
Yeah,
And I'm like sake. I was like SACE. Like is that how you say it?
or like saca, like saca la
Saca la
Saca
la
la
basura,
bolsita.
la basura,
basura, saca la basura. I,
la saca la basura.
La
I was
basura.
gonna say saca la bota. I was gonna say that.
Saca la bolsita.
No, yeah. Sometimes if I'm texting my mom and I've been like, I've been hanging out with the homies, I've been drinking a little bit, and like my cognitive function starts to like fuck up, and I'm like, damn, like how do I say it in Spanish? I'm like, oh well, all spells Google Translate time, and then
Didn't you do that once?
when I was like a little
You
kid,
said-
when I was
you
like a little
said-
kid,
I think you were trying to say like don't stay up.
yeah, don't stay up.
And then I think you ended up saying like no te mantengas arriba or something
Yeah.
like that. And I remember my mom showed me the text and she was like, what does Stevie mean by this? And then I read it and I was like, no te mantengas arriba or something like that. And I was like and then I started laughing. And then I was like, Mom, I think he's saying like don't stay up. Like no lo esperes. Mom.
Yeah.
Like, so he's gonna be out late.
I think it's sweet when moms say that because my mom does that too. When I'm out late, she like stays up and everything.
Oh,
But
yeah.
she still falls asleep. But like they always say, like I can't fall asleep
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
not home, and I'm like, you don't have to. I understand what you're.
Does your mom actually do that? Because my mom actually dead ass stays up. If like we haven't texted her back that we're gonna be out, she'll stay up and she won't go to
My
sleep.
mom and dad do that.
Really?
Yeah. And if not one, the other. And I appreciate it, but I always feel horrible.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
get
feel
up,
horrible
I'm like,
too.
man, just go to sleep.
No,
Like
I know.
Yeah.
I told them
I'll
that
be
too.
fine.
They kind of like just fall asleep now, but my mom told me like we leave the TV on for you so you can turn it off for us. And like
Oh, wow.
sometimes I forget. 'Cause, like there are times where I come back from like the bar or something with all you guys, and I'm
Yeah.
like I can't function. Like I'm just going straight to bed, and I forget. And she's like, "¿Por qué no apagaste la televisión?" And I'm like, "Sorry, mom."
Now they're mad at you
Yeah.
too.
Like, what time you come home? And I'm like, 12.
But do you think we'll get it when we're older, when we have
my,
kids?
my dad
I
always
think they
says that.
know.
He'll
They
be
know.
like, you'll understand when you have kids. I'm like,
I guess I could get it, right?
think
Anything
yeah.
can happen.
Yeah, anything,
Have you-
especially at night.
Have you ever had those moments where we're super sidetracking, but have you ever had those moments where your mom doesn't like she was supposed to come home at like 5 and it's already like 6:30?
oh, and you're a kid and you call like 18
Yeah, mom.
times?
She doesn't answer.
She's dead.
She's dead.
She's dead. What am I gonna do?
No,
Like,
that happens to me with both my parents now. Like, because
Yeah.
they're getting old. And when I first saw my parents come pick me up, I was like, damn, they're getting really old. 'Cause I haven't seen them in like months intervals, and like
Yeah.
you kind of see a little bit change, and I'm like, it kind of gets me sad.
that's just crazy though. Well, I just think it's a little funny. It's a little humorous where you were like, the first time I saw them when I came back from college was like, damn, you guys are getting old. Like,
And it made me sad. I was like,
Yeah.
I realized like life's short, and there's this one thing I always think about is our parents only know us for like 25% of their lives, and we know our parents for like our whole lives.
damn, that's true. I never thought
And,
of
like
that.
it's probably gonna be the same if we ever have kids too.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
There's like 25 years. That's gonna be like an amount we know have our kids or something.
Damn.
And then we've known each other for like longer, or like our whole life is different, and then we have kids.
Yeah, there's like a big transition for sure.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, it's crazy too because I remember when my dad turned 50, he stopped dyeing his hair. He said he would always, when he turned 50, he would stop dyeing his hair. So it's funny now. I think my mom also doesn't dye her hair anymore, right? So now they have gray hairs and stuff. So it's weird to go from that transition of like I remember being a kid and like my parents seem so like young, and then from now I'm an adult and my parents are like grandparents. I have a nephew. And it's like I see my nephew is like, that's so crazy because I know he's gonna grow up and he's gonna think back to these moments that we're having right now, and he's probably gonna picture my mom and my dad as like super old. But in my head, I feel like they're not that old. But I know in his vision already, he's seeing like the wrinkly like because like a lot of our grandparents are very like indigenous, and you know how they have the kind of like very wrinkly like cracks in their faces.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how our nephew's probably thinking of our mom and our dad already. And I feel like they're not at that stage yet. Not yet, at least.
No, yeah. I also one time had that same realization where I looked at mom and I was like, wow, they're getting really, they're getting older, you know. Mom still dyes her hair every once in a while, but they don't really do it as much anymore. They're like, it's there. They're finally
I get that. I'm sure getting old, you're probably like, oh, gives a fuck. Because have you ever seen when, I remember one time I went to In-N-Out and there was this really old man. Like I was eating the In-N-Out in my car. Oh, I think I was eating it with these two guys. And there's just an old man just sitting in his car, like full feet out, like on the ground. Like he was just smoking a cigarette, like by himself, like in the In-N-Out parking lot, surrounded by like all these youngins. Like I'm sure he was probably like, I'm old, like I don't give a fuck. Like somebody could rob me, I don't give a fuck. If it's my time, it's my time. That must be trippy, bro. But
getting older, yeah.
I know we sidetracked a lot, but
it trips me out all the time. Because I'm always curious as to like how we'll look when we're older.
Probably like your parents.
yeah, we're probably gonna look like our parents.
Yeah.
I already
It's
know.
just, yeah, to me it's just crazy because like even my mom's like shorter than me, and like I'm already short enough, and sometimes I'm kind of like I feel like I don't look like an adult yet, and I still sometimes I guess even see myself as still like in my teens in a way, and that's why I always imagine how I'm gonna look when I'm older, because I'm like I can't see it, like I can't imagine myself, mostly just because of my height. I like in my head, this is how it happens in my head. Like in my head, because I'm like short, I'm like I feel like I'm never gonna look like a full on adult. But then I'm like my mom does, so it's kind of like I guess I can't wrap my head around it.
Have you ever heard of that thing about how a lot of women feel like they're still like a teenage girls even though they're in their mid-20s, and the reason why is because for a lot of history, women went immediately from teenagers to moms and wives, and only recently did it become the norm that there's like single young women in their 20s, and so that's why a lot of women in their mid-20s feel like they're younger than they actually are.
Really?
Yeah. Does that make sense though?
I still feel like a teenager. Why is that like that for me?
But you're young. You're younger than us. You're only like what, 3 years removed from being a teenager. So I mean, it would make sense.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't go away. I see a lot of interviews like that of men and women saying that it doesn't go away. You always kind of perpetually feel that way. Some people do, but maybe people who like go to wars and shit. But if you live a generally normal life, so I don't know. I'm just curious what the explanation is for guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Patrick,
true.
do you feel like an adult? Because I feel like an adult.
There are times where I do, and there are times where I don't want to feel like an adult. There are times where I just want to chill, like play video games and stuff all the time. But responsibilities is what we have now.
It's because you know what it probably is that I got facial hair really young, so I've always kind of felt like I looked older, and it wasn't until recently where I was cutting my hair, like I was at the barbershop, and I had my AC/DC hat on, and I was just waiting for a good minute, and then it was my turn to go up, but I needed to go check the parking meter real quick, and at the same time somebody else went out, and it was like this way older guy. He was probably like in his 80s, and he came in at the same time I did, and he's like, "Oh, which one of you guys was first?" And the super old man, he was like, "Oh, the kid with the AC/DC hat." And I was like, "Kid?" Like, bro, like I'm like, I feel like physically, like I look. No, I didn't take it as an insult, but I was just like, "Whoa!" Like it's been a while since somebody referred to me as a kid, and that must be because we're in the same kind of topic of age. I'm sure when you get to that age, you're probably like, "No, bro, in your 20s and your 30s, you're still like a kid." And that's probably so. I feel like it's normal to kind of at this age still feel that young, but who knows?
I mean, I still feel young.
I mean, we are young.
I'm
we're
just
in
like,
our 20s.
like I do feel like I do have like my adult responsibilities, but I still feel like I'm still very young and like not very knowledgeable on a lot of things. And I don't know. It's interesting because sometimes I also think about it when I still do, I guess, like kid-like stuff. And I'm always like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's like what they say, you're healing your inner child.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's really nice because and I feel like I realized that recently because I like I feel like my boyfriend's always very like he takes me to like Disneyland and like I mean we grew up on that, but I was kind of like it's Disneyland, and then I ended up like I guess being more freely about it. And I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of also healing, I guess, my inner child because, yeah, we were able to go, but we weren't able to go, like, all the time. or like our parents worked 24/7. So it's kind of like I didn't get to do a lot of activities that I guess now I kind of have my own money to kind of go and do these things. So in a way, I feel like I'm still doing a lot of like things that I wish I would have done with my family when I was younger, which is cool. And like I feel like that's what keeps me, I guess, young in a way, where I'm kind of still healing that part of myself.
I don't know. I feel like it never really goes away. I feel like maybe for some people, but and the reason I say that is because my dad says that, and my dad is old. He's almost in his 80s, and he'll from time to time, he never says he feels like a kid or teenager, but he'll say like, he'll come up to me and be like, I don't even know what old is. Like I feel like the same. I feel like young inside, but I look in the mirror and I see like an old man. So he's like, I always feel like that's just a little confusing, you know. And he doesn't say it in like a bad way. He says it in like it trips him out kind of way. So that's why I'm like, I feel like it doesn't really go away, and if it does, it's probably just like a societal thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I feel like that too.
Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of like, cause also like us talking about this, it makes me think like, why is certain things only attached to like you being a kid? Like why can't you just do that all the time? Like playing video games, why can't you do that now? Like why is that wrong as an adult to play video games? Like I don't think that's wrong. I feel like you're just having fun, you know.
Or going to the bar as a 40-year-old person. Like, why does everybody look at you? Like why is everybody?
Are there no 40-year-olds at bars?
No,
there are. That's why.
There
but
are,
everybody's
but
like
people are like, you're
weird.
a creep. Yeah,
What?
you're a creep or something.
What?
Yeah.
I thought that's like bar age.
No, like mid 20s to late 20s and early 30s is like bar age. But if you're like past that prime, people look at you weird. And
That's weird.
It's bars and clubs are young young adults type of scene.
That's weird. That's mean.
it is mean.
It is mean, but it's kind of goes to your point, right? About how like why is it that there's some things that like we socially accept, even though on the inside you still feel like you can have that fun.
Yeah.
I think personally, healing your inner child is a good form of therapy.
Yeah. You know, I read. Sorry, were you?
No,
I read that one form of healing your inner child is if you have like nieces or nephews or little like brothers or sisters, that like hanging out with them heals your inner child. So
yeah, I can relate to that because like family parties, you know, there'll be like the older people and the younger nephews and all that. I would still hang out with the younger nephews just because like I don't want to be with the old people talking about life and like what I own, how much money I'm making. You know how like some Mexican parents, they like to show off and all that. No, I like talking to like my younger cousins. They're like, how's like school? Like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to be like an astronaut or something? I don't know. Something about that like makes me like warm and like better about myself because like they're young and I like seeing the youth like dream because like I used to dream, you know.
I used to dream. You don't dream anymore?
I still dream. I'm not saying it's just like sometimes now societal standards kind of force us to like limit our options now. And when I talk to them, I feel like don't let those options get narrowed down. Embrace them and expand what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, it's just gonna be you, and try to stick to your dreams because sometimes people settle, and that's what I kind of hate. I kind of hate about that.
No, true. Because for me, it's my nephew, and like I felt like when I was a kid, a lot of like since I was the youngest in my family, I just like I got a lot of like like family bullying. So sometimes when I'm with my nephew, I have that urge to kind of like punk on him, but I never do.
To bully him?
Yeah, to punk on him just because like I know that's like me, like that's my thing. Like I remember being a kid and I remember everybody going in on me. But then it's because I literally saw a TikTok where it's like when you want to be mean to your nephew, but you remember that they heal your inner child. Yeah. And have you seen it? It's like you're my baby, you're my baby. It's so like I'm like no, bro. Like I always wish when I was younger that older people were nicer to me. And so that's the kind of like attitude I bring to my nephew. And so it's cool because I really do feel like it's healing me. I'm like, you see, like if I could do good with this kid right here, he's doing good. And it's cool because I don't know, my nephew's really cool. I low-key be glazing a lot when I talk about my nephew, but
I was talking to him yesterday because he was eating chicken nuggets. Oh, yeah. And I was like, how are you, Valentine? He's like, I'm good. And then I was like, and then I saw his hat because I guess he had just done baseball. And I was like, is this your hat? He's like, yeah, I'm a pirate. Oh, yeah.
That's his baseball team. He's a pirate. He's a pirate.
Bro. Kids are innocent and they can easily be manipulated, bro.
Whoa!
Not in that sense, but like, let's talk about like, this might be sidetracking, but like,
no, go ahead.
Racism. You know,
okay.
They learn it from
Okay.
And
you
like,
teach them.
Like people teach them racism and like what's good and what's bad and like who's better looking and all that. And like you've seen those clips on like TikTok or something where they're like saying pretty much racist stuff to like colored people, and it's
People of color.
people of color. Sorry, people of color.
It's okay. It's okay.
People of color.
He's
and,
learning. He's learning.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's kind of messed up because kids don't come out born like that.
No. Yeah.
It's taught at
100%.
home.
It's
And
taught.
like,
Yeah.
It's that innocence that's easily corrupted.
Well, isn't that trippy? Because I remember I was talking to Brandon about it. Either Brandon told me or we just were talking about it, about how like it's harder not to see people as children anymore. Because it's like in reality, all these people, like you said, like it's the outer that kind of ages, but the inner never really does. A lot of people who are damaged like that, who either like spout racism or are very like hateful people, it's mainly they're just like broken children who just grew up, never healed, and so they stayed in that state of mind where it's very black and white. And so like this isn't an excuse. Like obviously, if you're a fucking racist, like it doesn't mean like, oh no, like you know, and like they're a broken child. But it's more of like, it's trippy to think that at one point all these people were innocent and their surroundings are what breeded and created this like person who now spews like hatred and a bunch of like ignorance. You know, it's pretty trippy. It's trippy in general to think about like the kids and like the innocence, like because it really does shape you, you know, when you're that young. Like that's why I've always thought it was weird when people like hate kids.
Yeah.
I always think it's weird when people are like, oh, I fucking hate kids. Like I love being mean to kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, they're literally innocent.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they don't know anything.
It's projecting, bro. They're projecting.
No, yeah, definitely. You know,
I feel like
100%.
I do always hear when like people always say like you know the thing of like fuck them kids and all that stuff. And to me like I don't like it's not that I hate kids. I just like I don't know how to I feel like I don't know how to socialize with them.
Okay.
So like it's not that I don't like them, it's just I don't know how to socialize with them. But every time I interact with kids, and I can tell when it's like a troubled kid where like, and it's mostly because their parents, that's just how they teach them. I don't really try to, I guess, be mean to them at all. Like I always try to like at least be, I guess, the bigger person, because I am the adult in this situation. Like I always try to be that bigger person for them. And it's kind of like, I feel like kids understand. Like you can talk to them and they'll understand you, and they'll listen. Every once in a while, yeah, you'll have the kid that doesn't, but it's kind of like, if you talk to them, they'll listen to you because they still see you as the adult. Like they'll still listen to whatever you're telling them, you know, to do or whatever. And I work with kids a lot, and I feel like that's how I learned to kind of just like interact with them. I'm still very awkward with them. Like I'm really socially awkward with kids, which is why I try not to interact with kids as much. So I'm like, it's not that I don't like them. It's just like, I feel like
There's this awkwardness.
yeah,
there,
there's this something there that I just can't talk to them sometimes.
like a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
I feel bad for there's a certain age where kids hit and they start asking a lot of questions like, why is this, why is that, and there's a lot of people that don't have patience for that, and they get mad at them. And I kind of feel that because I think that's the most critical point of kids where they need teaching, because that's where they start questioning, that's where they become sentient.
Yeah.
It's like those memes where one Friday afternoon you just become aware of your surroundings,
Right.
and like
Consciousness,
your
right.
consciousness just hits. Like that's them. Like it just hit them. Like they're trying to understand everything around them, and that's the most time where they need guidance, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if I really wonder if my nephew's hit that yet. I think about it all the time, because I remember, my sister says she doesn't really remember a specific moment. Do you, Brandon? Do you remember a specific moment when you feel like you gain consciousness? I feel like I remember it so clearly. So I always wonder if my nephew's hit it yet. Because I remember it was like this party. I remember I woke up. I literally like looked at my hands. Like maybe that's like me being delusional. Like that didn't really happen. But I swear I remember it so vividly. I was like this little ass kid. I woke up from a nap. It's when we used to have bunk beds. I remember I woke up. I saw the top of the bunk bed. I knew I was in my bed. I looked at my hands. And I just felt real. Like I just got plugged in. And I remember I started crying. Like I started crying for my mom because I could hear muffled music. Like I knew we were having a party. I'm like, I just want my mom. Like I just started crying for my mom. But so I was trying to cry really, really loud. But obviously there was no way I was going to overpower the music until finally I went out. And I remember I went out to the back and my mom was wearing like this super like vivid like blue dress. Kind of the color that your jeans are right now, Julie. She was wearing like a super blue dress, and I was trying to like talk to her because I just felt freaked out. And she was like handing out like shots, and that was like that's one of. I remember from that point on. I remember all my memories were kind of linear. Like from that point on, from that point on to right now is when I remember I was like linear.
So you were like 2
I was young. I was really young. Yeah,
Because I
was
feel
really
like
young.
I remember that party. I think it was for like either my baptism or my 3 years.
It was for you. I don't
Yeah.
know what the party was about. I just remember that. I just remember looking up. I remember pulling on my mom's like shirt to lift me up. I just wanted her to lift me up, but she had like a plate full of like shots.
I remember mine. Mine was like during pre-K.
I remember mine.
Pre-K. And it was like the same thing. It was like, I want my mom. Like I started crying in preschool, and I was known to be like a crybaby, but who cares now?
Yeah,
I was like,
it's okay, bro. Me too. Me too, bro. Me too.
Time. And it was my dad that picked me up, and I was like, no, I want my mom. And then there's a picture that like my dad, like he was like trying to calm me down, and there's the picture of the same day where it's just me and him smiling.
Oh wow.
And I still have that photo.
When we got plugged into the Matrix
Yeah.
and shit. Bro, there's proof that me and Patrick aren't NPCs.
Yeah, bro.
There you go. Bro.
We're the main characters. I'm just kidding. No. Everybody has their own story.
Bro, we're still like on the first question. So, Julie, we gotta
I'm dead. I don't even know how we ended up here. Bro.
I know, right?
It was a good conversation.
I know, it was a good
The question
combo, yeah.
was, would you let the homies hit? And then, and then it went to
We went into like sentience
for children.
Wow.
And went into how we all feel like kids inside. All about letting the homies hit as a girl. Wow.
I don't know how
Range.
I don't know
How
that
did
got
we
there.
get?
I don't know. We'll rewatch this.
Well, yeah. I guess we'll watch the episode again.
What's the next question?
The other one was, do you like it when girls shoot their shot?
Yeah, I do. I'm a shy person. I wouldn't really go up to somebody.
Has it happened before? Where
I can't remember, but I think I feel like it has.
No,
But
you don't think it would be memorable that like instead
no,
of
I
you
think it
shooting your
is
shot,
memorable because like a lot of dudes are kind of more like secluded and like
no, 100%.
it's kind of forced on them. Like, oh, why do I have to make the first move? Like I'm shy as hell, and society. all that. But if someone were to shoot their shot, I remember that. I was like, oh wow, like why me? You know,
Why?
Why me? It's spark interest, you know.
Yeah.
I say. Yeah.
What would you say is something you wish women did more for men?
I say compliment them more. You know, like, hey, you look good today. Compliment them, like.
Cat call them?
No, not
Right.
compliment.
That
them.
ass is fat.
Like you look like really good today, or like, one of my favorite compliments is like you look really cool.
You look really cool.
Like you look really cool right now.
You look really cool right now, Patrick.
Thank
You
you.
look really cool, bro. You look really cool.
It's like it's just like something about the inner child in me is like really like kicking my feet because that happened to me recently. And they called me like you look really cool right now. I'm like really? I was like really.
Aww.
You know what
That's
I like?
cool.
I told my sister about it. Is that one time I was out with this girl. We were looking at like the full moon, and I forgot how it came up, but I remember I just told her she was pretty, and then she said, "You're pretty too." And I was like, it was funny because I was like taken aback because I was like, as a dude to be called pretty, but it really like it did have me like
It empowered
like,
you?
Okay, like
Under
okay.
the moon too, bro.
Yeah, that's how I was like, and the moon's right there. Like, you see the.
I would have cried. I would have been like that one wolf, like, and staring at the moon. That's how I would have felt.
So I feel that definitely like women, Julie.
So compliments?
Yeah,
So you
compliments
guys-
hit.
I would say compliments.
I'd say guys don't get a lot of compliments, especially from women. Or if they do get compliments, it's very masculine. It's like, yo, that fit is sick as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which still is it hits. It's cool.
No, but like something is like you look really good. Like something like small. Like you look really good today, or it's like your hair looks really nice, or you smell good. It's like that's.
How would you feel if someone's like, you look fine as fuck right now?
I'd be like, okay, pretty strong approach, but thank you, I guess.
That one would that one hit or not? Julie, how would it feel actually as a woman? Because I'm sure dudes have say to girls like,
What did you say?
you look fine as fuck.
I
right
feel
now.
like that's so aggressive.
Yeah, that is aggressive. That's
so
really
aggressive.
good. No, me personally, I like calm and smooth and like kind of.
You look fine as fuck right now.
No, I don't like that. That's a little bit creepier.
You just can't make that one work.
Yeah, you can't make that one work. You just be
Yeah.
you look really nice, like smooth talking.
You look really nice.
really
that one's literally like a little kid like
Yeah.
compliment.
It's just like the
really
healing of the
nice.
inner child.
You look really nice.
What's
That's
the
cool.
other one? What did you say? You look cool.
Like you
What
look
if
really
what
cool.
if somebody said you look cute?
You look cute.
You're cute.
Like thank you.
Thank
But
you.
yeah.
That one's a miss.
No,
That was a
like
miss?
okay.
no,
Not cute.
It's, I'm just
The
a little-
Riz is
I'm
off.
a little picky. I'm a little picky.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I remember when I was Walden, when I was like younger, I was like 19. I remember I did one time say to a girl that she looked fine. I didn't say you look fine as fuck, but I did say you look fine, and she did actually really like it. She thought it was a really nice compliment.
I think that's a nice. You look
Yeah.
fine. It's
Yeah.
like,
You look fine. Not as fuck.
You look.
but-
Yeah, I didn't
not
say-
as
yeah.
fuck, aggressive. Like, you look really fine.
Damn,
I'm
damn, you look
dead.
fine. You know, like when I was 19, I remember I just said it, and it worked. I was like, whoa! I did not think it was gonna work. It was just, it was one of those things where I was like, I don't know, might as well see.
Some people are
Some people
different.
are like it, yeah.
Some people like it. Some people don't like it.
Yeah, it depends. Totally depends on
It
the
really
person for
depends.
sure.
It really depends.
Because I could see it as being kind of like that's a weird.
Because if I'm at the
Results may
club
vary.
and like
Results
someone's
Results
like,
may vary.
if I'm at the club and someone's like, "You look hot as fuck right now," I'm like, "Excuse me."
What if
Like,
she was like bad, bro? What if she was like pretty and like hot?
I'd just be confused. I was like, "Where did
I'd
this
just
come
be-
from?" I was like, "Where did this come from?"
Is she gonna rob me? Like,
We're having introductions.
oh, I'm not that type of boy.
Not that type of boy. Like, come to me
I'm
nicely.
classy.
Come to me nicely.
Go ahead, Julie. Go ahead.
Do you have any icks from women? What are your icks, Patrick? I want to know.
My ex, I guess one particular one is when you're like trying to help someone and they're like, "No, I don't want to." Like they just completely ignore you.
When they reject you, is it?
No, not reject, but like,
wait, say again?
Like what happened in this situation? Or give us the situation.
no, just like in general, just like I guess an argument. Like I just want to like talk about it. Like what happened? And they're like, "No, nothing," and they just completely ignore you. Like that.
They're
And
like avoidant.
they're avoidant.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very avoidant.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Because
I see
it's
that.
not immature, but it's like you're just gonna leave me in the dust like that. Like I'm trying to like
Talk about it.
talk about it, like be mature about it. You know?
Yeah, I
'Cause,
get you.
like, it's kind of, it's not childish, but it's like it's impolite.
Mm. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I can relate to that. So like, yeah, like a politeness then, like immaturity too.
Very immaturity, but it comes from somewhere. There's
It
a
comes-
source.
There's a source.
What
What's
are you
the
trying to
source? I want
say?
to know the source.
He said it like because of like trauma and shit.
It's because Patrick's enlightened, bro.
Yeah, you're enlightened. You know everything's connected. There's no
Everything-
such thing as things. Just people are just the way
Yeah,
they
people
are.
are just somebody's going through something.
Yeah,
Everybody's their own character.
everybody. Every single reason you're the way you are comes from something.
Yeah, you learn from
Everybody
something.
It's not just
has-
random.
Everybody has demons, you know.
No, that's true. Everybody has demons.
Be nice, spread love,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Be
bro.
kind.
Love is universal. Love is universal.
Patty, you're on some other shit. I love it. I love it,
Oh,
bro.
who is this?
It's just the beard.
It's the beard.
It's the beard.
It's just
No,
like-
I don't know. Beer makes me
I don't
violent
know.
No, you
sometimes,
know
bro.
what it is? It's those fucking shrooms we took recently, bro.
Whoa, what do you mean?
Oh, I'm just
No, I'm
kidding.
just kidding. You could say that.
No,
we
it-
mentioned it before already.
It's I messaged you too, and I was like, I think those shrooms really made me an emotional person. I feel like I've cried a lot more ever since like I've embraced nature and like the beauty of things around me. Like I know people are going through things, and I'm like I try to like help them or something. Because like negative like action or like just bringing negativity does not do any help or justice to anyone.
No, 100%, bro. You're spitting for sure.
Like-
I felt that too.
He's emotionally.
Yeah.
what is
Oh
it?
my god, he's
Emotionally
choked up.
Oh, I'm sorry,
You
bro.
have him
I
choked
didn't know
up.
you were talking about me.
No,
No, you're talking about Patrick. Oh, man.
no, but like yeah, I've like it hasn't even been a year that I've been gone. It's like 9 months or something in total.
Yeah.
But like it's still a lot of time where like I've kind of like forced myself to survive, adapt to my environment. But
Remember, bro. People may walk the journey with you, but nobody can walk it for you.
facts.
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 Real.
Next question,
real.
Julie.
Have you guys seen that video real quick of I think it's American Idol, and one of the singers or the contestants, he I think he was at a school shooting, and Katy Perry's like crying hard, and she's like, "This system has fucking failed us," and she's like screaming,
I
and the
remember
guy's like, "Facts,
Facts.
facts."
It's the best video
That
ever.
video is, oh my god,
Facts.
Well, he probably
Facts.
didn't know how to respond to that.
facts.
No, what do you mean? He responded the best way you
He
could.
did. He said
Facts.
facts.
I mean, he's not wrong.
not
Facts.
wrong.
Yeah. Go
All
ahead,
right,
Julie.
so
Jackson.
I guess last one. What is okay? What is the first thing you would do if you were a woman?
Let the homies.
No.
He said no already.
The first thing I'll do is women empower other women, bro.
Wow.
I feel like
Okay.
You know what these guys
Holy shit.
No.
Holy
Don't
shit.
say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Yeah, no, don't say anything.
I feel like I try to like make a lot of friends because like I've known a lot of friends that are girls and they're kind of like
lonely.
snobby.
not lonely, but they're kind of
Yeah.
angry towards each other. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're supposed to be supporting each other. You know,
Yeah.
we're sisters.
That's crazy. You
We're
said
sisters.
So you try to build the community?
I try to
Wow.
build empower the community.
If
trying to
y'all
be
want to know what
changed.
these guys said, go back to the episode. What episode is it?
we said something along the same lines, right?
Yeah. So
We said something along the
I
same
cut-
It's
lines.
episode 10.
I cut a few
Episode
things
10.
out, but you know,
Y'all
I
should
think
check out.
it's-
Y'all should check
it's-
out episode 10 to see what these.
It's not fair. Izzy was on. We were having fun. We were joking.
The
like-
boys' locker room.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're. No, I mean you're the boys too, but he's enlightened. It's not fair.
It's not fair. This is Patrick would have said something different before.
I know. Before we took
You
the
should have
shrooms.
gave me this, bro. You should have gave me this.
It's not fair. You caught us with our pants
That's
down.
cool. No, that's cool. Respect. I respect that. That's cool. I generally do hate when like girls are very like mean to each other.
Yeah, it's
Like I don't get it either. I'm just like, why though? Like, why is it? Especially, I remember when I was younger. Especially when it's about a dude, and I'm like, bro, y'all fighting for a fool? Like the fuck? There's more out there. Like,
because like dudes when it
I
like,
feel like
in the
dudes
similar
fight over women.
sometimes, but I feel like
I haven't.
It's more shallow. I feel like with women, it's always deeper cut.
yeah, the woman is deeper cutted, like because you know some of them their moms judge them or like the sisters always go through fights.
mm-hmm.
I feel like for dudes, it's a lot more shallow. It's more of just like a dude was just
I'll
horny.
fuck you up.
Yeah. And
Oh
he's
wait.
like,
Oh,
nah.
I thought you were saying something
No,
different.
that too. But I mean, like that too. I'll just fuck you up. You know.
It just always feels like there's like this like competition where it's kind of like I don't know where that comes from. Where it's just
I
like
don't
very
know.
competitive.
No, it's true because
No,
I talked about
hear
it.
Me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
I feel like I think it's different, but I think if you really look at it, it's probably very similar. It's just the way that they express it is differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like this is a generalization, but at least a lot of the guys I know are not as comfortable emotionally expressing themselves as a lot of the women I know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But emotion is like energy. It's there. You know, it's real.
Yeah.
So like, let's say if I was angry or if a guy is angry, chances are, again, a generalization, he's not going to say I'm angry. He's going to punch you in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Again, a generalization. Whereas if you a generalization of a woman, they'll tell you, they'll tell you they're angry. They'll express it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different. But I think if you really like at the root, it's probably the same. It's just the expression of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, but I mean, it's not wrong. I get what you're saying. That just initially, even beyond guys, right? There seems to be this competition between like women, because we talked about it in my philosophy class. I don't know if you guys remember where I explained it, the theory of like why that is. And so, were you there?
I remember that episode.
Yeah, I won't go over it again. But it was basically just
Do we say it in this?
Freud just wild and fraud. More like Freud, more like fraud.
No, because I was just saying. Because I mean, I've talked to you guys about like
Yeah.
girls being like weird. I guess with me, and like it's just like
There's
it
no
just makes
reason.
me sad.
There's no reason.
There's just no reason. Especially like in a society where it's just like,
But
where it's just like no, but it's just like in a world where
Yeah.
it's like everyone is always against women, right? Where it's like
It's
there's
misogynistic.
shit that's always just like one, like we're always mistreated, we're always like, because we're very vulnerable, we're like abused, we're like hated on for just being like women. And it's just like to have that on top of another woman being against you and like competing with you or like putting you down or throwing you under the bus. And it's kind of like we already have enough with everyone else. It's kind of like, and to someone in your own to kind of just do that, it's just like, what the fuck, you know?
let me offer a like, I don't know what you'd call this, because I'm not a thought. I saw this TikTok, right, about this girl said, you can't have a truly close relationship unless you have confrontation, unless you have like, shit like that. Would you say that that's just a risk of being more vulnerable? Like being more vulnerable and open with each other and more like expressive opens you up to the risk and possibility of people being mean, people being like, I don't agree with you, or taking advantage of what they told you. But and I see this a lot of when guys talk on TikTok of like, oh, people are just going to use this against us. People are going to use this against us. And maybe guys don't do that because they're so closed off at the emotions, and maybe they're so shallow because, I mean, what would I even throw at you? I don't know anything about you. What am I going to say that's going to cut so deep? So could you argue that maybe it's just like a symptom? Like, do you think if men were more open and like, fucking, I don't know, expressive with each other, that they would use shit like that? Because, I don't know. I feel like I've known some shallow and mean dudes who would do like some shit like that, who would say some evil shit to you. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get what you're saying 100%.
Exposing yourself has a chance to like people kind of like abusing what you told them.
Yeah. Do you think that's just maybe a human thing?
It's a risk,
right?
It's a risk.
I don't know. I'm not fraud or.
No,
I might be fraud.
But you're not Freud.
Yeah.
No, but I feel you, Judy. I guess I can get that.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because I mean, you're not the only girl who's told me stuff like that. You're not even the only girl who's like. There's always been girls who are mean to me. So I don't know. It probably goes deep. It's probably its own episode. We'd have to like deep dive, do research and shit.
Empower each other, sisters. Empower each other.
Bro's been a woman for a day.
He's been a woman for like 10 minutes.
He knows the struggle.
He understands.
I understand the struggle.
He understands.
I fuck with that, Patrick. That's cool.
I feel seen.
SF different.
Beautiful.
SF changed me.
That's cool, man. That's
He's a
cool.
different man.
Would you try and speed run women milestones?
If you were a woman for a day,
you gotta get pregnant.
Oh no,
you gotta have your period.
No, I don't think so. I would like.
Crazy.
I would experience the period and all that. Pregnancy, I don't know.
Pregnancy.
I have a choice.
Seems scary.
Yeah.
Bro, I was thinking about that shit recently. I was like, fuck, that's crazy, bro. Like,
especially with that Kevin Gates video that he posted. Oh my
Kevin
God.
Gates is wild.
Who?
Oh, yeah,
You see that?
Kevin Gates.
You don't know who Kevin Gates is? He's a rapper, right?
Yeah.
He just posted a video of a childbirth, and it's like it's not
I
censored.
heard about
Yeah.
it.
It's not censored.
It's not censored.
Yeah.
So you guys watched it?
Well, because
I saw it for a second. If I'm being honest, I clicked off immediately.
Well, because on TikTok, everybody was saying like, there's people who are like, I guarantee you'll never guess what's on Kevin Gates' story right now. Everybody being like, oh, I should never look, or people like, I dare you to look. So I looked it up, and I remember I was like, at first I just thought it was a nude woman,
I know.
and then I was like, wait, what's happening? And it caught me by surprise, because she's like standing up.
yeah.
So she's giving birth to the baby standing up. Yeah.
I saw people got mad
Is
because
it?
everybody's
Is
like,
it in a hospital?
I don't think so.
No.
I think she's doing
No,
it.
I think it's like a
home or
natural
something.
birth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah. That's why I saw the women get mad because they're like, men be like, oh my God, Kevin Gates' story is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Oh, opens Kevin Gates' story. It's just childbirth.
Yeah.
It's literally just childbirth.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, it was just
Unexpected.
unexpected and
For me, I clicked off so fast because I weirdly enough have this thing where the first time I want to see it is when I have a kid, if I have a kid. So that's why I clicked off so fast. Or maybe that's just my lie. That's my cover up.
I just can't. I'm not good with like gore.
Yeah.
Would you consider that gore? I don't think.
I don't think it's gore.
I know, right?
But like that, I
Was
guess
there
in that,
blood?
yeah, there was
Yeah,
blood.
there was blood?
I feel like I'm a bit squeamish with that. I'm
Yeah.
always like, I don't want to see.
I think
Are you gonna
like
look?
even when I get my blood
I
taken,
feel
can't
like
look.
even if I ever give birth, I feel like I don't want my husband to look.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, please don't, please don't.
I've heard that
But
it really
I don't know.
fucks some people up. Like
Well,
if
yeah,
they
some
look.
dudes faint, no?
some people rip. I feel like if I
Yeah.
saw that, I'd faint.
No, I've heard like it fucks some people up in a kind of sad way. Like I've heard that husbands like have a hard time like seeing their wife like sexual after that. Like they have a hard time being aroused after that because they saw like
Props to moms and women out there.
Yeah.
Giving birth.
Shout out to men.
Shout out
to
to
women.
shout out to women. that
Shout
give
out to
birth.
women. Hey, you know what? That's cool.
Shout out women. Gotta be one of my favorite genders.
One of my favorite genders. Bro.
Yeah, women. I fuck with women. Dear
Underrated.
Mama. I was listening to Dear Mama today by Tupac. Have you guys ever heard that song?
Good song. Great fucking song.
Yeah, Loki, it got me. I was like, fuck. Tupac, bro. Tupac was always pro women. He was always spitting some cool bars about what was it?
Ooh,
I know he did the
Gonna
abortion
get
one. Where he
easy.
talked about it's like if it comes from a
Oh yeah.
If
I
a
don't
man
know.
can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman
when and where to create one.
facts.
Yeah,
that song-
no,
that
Tupac is
song-
good.
that
Keep your head
song-
up, right?
That song, yeah. Keep your head up. That song goes off.
I was listening to it too.
I love that song.
It's crazy because he kind of was spitting in a way that I feel like is still, because I was listening to that song today too, in a way that is relevant now, where he's like, or if we don't raise our kids to like love and nurture women, we're gonna have a generation of men who are women haters. I feel like that's like pretty accurate.
That's really happening right now.
That's pretty accurate.
And that was when?
That was in the 90s, and it's 2020, so all those kids are like in their 20s, our age now.
All these kids are like Andrew
and there's a
Tate
lot of
and
people.
all those names and everything.
Almost 30 years, right?
Our people now.
That's
There are
just
people
crazy.
our age now.
It'll
who
probably
are
be
women
around.
haters.
It'll probably be around for a
Yeah,
while.
for a while.
I would say people our age are the biggest like demographic of like Andrew Tate fans. So
Yeah.
Are they?
pretty around.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like from
I thought-
from
Because,
like
also
from like
younger
teenagers,
kids.
yeah,
Also
from like
younger-
teenagers
yeah.
to us, because we're the young men who need the father figure.
Oh, you think so? I thought his demographic. What's the age range? 25 to 32. I thought that was more his demographic.
No, it's like
it?
17 or something.
You think
It's-
so?
it's
I'm not
young
saying he
men.
doesn't have.
It's just young men. It's
Yeah,
just young men.
man.
Because young men are the ones who are easier to manipulate. Because everybody's looking for a father, but he's
Bruh,
gone.
I do remember, I think my coworker is like 20 or 21, and that fool loves Andrew Tate.
Fool.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, yeah, he's definitely this demographic.
I'm
but,
just like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
but I guess we'll leave it off there, bro.
Stop the hate.
Interesting.
Stop
yeah.
the hate. Stop the hate.
Stop the hate. Stop the hate.
Love the woman and your mothers.
Love your woman. Protect your sisters. Protect, even if you don't have any women in your family, look out for them.
Friends.
Spread love. Brandon, what did you bring for this week?
Man, you guys are gonna hate this one. It's like anti-woman.
What?
Just kidding. No, just kidding.
Like, you're like scratching your neck, like ooh.
The whole
Like,
time I was like, ooh.
I can't
Whoops.
believe it.
it's about how
It's pro-choice. I mean, pro-life or whatever.
it's like a conservative.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Like-
just kidding.
Brandon's always been a woman hater.
What are you talking
Damn.
about? Wow.
I feel like
I've
that is
been-
not true.
I feel like I'm the most. I don't even know what you'd call it.
That's not true. I'm the most pro woman.
No, that's not true.
But
If
he's
you-
second at least.
No. If you go in the dictionary and you look up like basically-
Feminist?
No. Basically, you look up who does everyone want to be, and then you'll find Brandon there. Anyways,
What?
It's right next to delusional and
it's right. It's right. You got it wrong. It's right next to deity, not delusional. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
You know, on TikTok, they call it Delulu now.
oh yeah.
That's fine.
Jilly, you're a millennial, bro. That's all.
Jilly, you're a
I'm
millennial.
telling you, I don't keep up. I don't keep up with the
Aren't you actually a
lingo.
millennial?
I don't keep up with the lingo.
I think she's like right on that cusp where some people consider her a millennial and some people consider her like old Gen Z. She's literally right at the line.
She's a cusp.
She's like you, yeah.
So what's after Gen Z?
Gen Alpha. That's my nephew. Hell yeah. I'm raising the next generation.
Bro, who's gonna be Gen Beta? Gen Sigma?
Probably
Will
your
they-
kids.
Will they even be alive?
That was
bro,
good. He
because of
got me.
climate change.
That was good.
Bruh.
Will they be alive because of climate change, bro?
I
don't
hope
know.
so, man. We'll fix it. We'll get it done. Everything's cool.
hope so.
But go ahead,
Anyways,
Brandon. Yeah.
anyways, before you guys so rudely interrupted,
Sorry.
me,
My
just
bad.
to be haters and assholes,
My
talk
bad.
about we used to punk on little kids and punk the youngest guy here. But whatever.
My bad. It's my trauma, bro.
He has to.
Yeah, that's an excuse. It's totally okay.
Damn.
My fault. My
Damn.
fault. I
Okay.
apologize. So what did you bring for us this week, bro?
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I did a bit of a spooky episode. I talked about aliens. I hoped you guys liked it. It's okay if you didn't, but I'll try it again.
It's
Maybe.
okay, bro. As long as you had fun, we all had fun.
I only have fun when everybody has fun.
Mhm.
I'm having fun.
I'm
Okay,
having fun.
All right. Also, because Patrick's here, and before he left, we used to do like spooky sessions. Watch scary videos together. Because Julie gets scared, Patrick
Yeah.
doesn't.
My sister doesn't like spooky stuff, huh, Julie?
She scares easily.
I do.
But I brought an abduction story. This is called The Abduction of Travis Walton. Have you guys ever heard of this story?
No, I have not.
I have not. It sounds familiar though.
Okay.
I'm done.
So this is widely regarded as the most credible UFO abduction case that there is. You'll see why, but I'll leave it up to you guys to decide and to the viewers at home. So the main character of this story is, of course, Travis Walton. He's a lumberjack, and at the time of this story, he's only 22 years old, and he's working in his hometown of Snowflake, Arizona. In all the accounts of who this guy is, everybody loves him. He seems to be like the town daredevil. You know, there's a story of him chasing a bear out of the road. So, needless to say, this guy's cool. At least everybody thought he was.
He's him.
Exactly.
He's him.
So, like I said, him and all his friends work as lumberjacks, loggers, and they work for a man named Mike Rogers. He's the foreman, the boss of. He manages all the projects, and they go to him to hire them. So they get hired for this project to clear out 1,200 acres in the Sitgreaves National Forest, and they're supposed to remove about 1,200 acres of just forest, cut down logs, cut down trees. That's a lot. On the third day, I think it would be November 5th, 1975, they're a bit behind schedule. They're kind of a bit beat because, again, they're behind schedule, so they're kind of working extra hard, and they put in long hours and stuff. So they're pretty happy to head home. As they're heading home, they're driving down this dirt road to eventually get back to the main road, because obviously they're not in civilization. As they're driving back, they all see this like glowing light. Some of them think it's the moon, but I think one of them goes, the moon's over there, so it can't be the moon. One of them says, "Oh, it's maybe it's a fire," but they don't see any smoke, so it can't be a fire. Another one says, "Oh, maybe it's just a campsite," but they feel like it's too bright to be an individual campsite. So eventually, they get to this clearing, right? And they see essentially a flying saucer. And like I mentioned earlier, Travis is kind of, I guess, a daredevil. I mean, chases bears. He immediately like jumps out of the car. I guess his reasoning was that he thought it was immediately going to fly away, and that this might be his only chance to see the thing, right? So he's walking up to the flying saucer, and all his friends are like, "Get out of there! Like, don't do that!" Like, because they don't know what it is, and they're obviously really scared. So eventually, he gets up to the saucer, and they all describe that the saucer started moving. They describe it as like a mechanical noise, but they would also describe it as a noise that you felt more than you heard. So this obviously scared Travis. So he apparently jumped behind a bunch of logs for like cover. But as he like poked his head up to like see if he was okay, he gets zapped by like a beam of light. And the beam of light, I guess, launches him 10, 20 feet back into the forest. And the crew obviously assumes he's dead. So they think they're next, and they hightail it out of there. So far, thoughts, guys?
I feel like they're valid. I feel like if I saw the homie get zapped like that by a fucking UFO,
So
I mean, I'd run away.
He got launched or he got abducted?
I thought when I first heard the story, it sucked him up.
Oh, you're just like you're like floated, fucking up.
Yeah, like creative mode. No, he in the according to the reports, it zaps him. Like a beam of light hits him, and he goes flying.
I feel like that's fucked up.
I would declare he's dead right there, bro.
I wonder what it looked like. They just said it was like a lightning bolt. Like it's just
Like
like
a laser?
like a cartoon. Like
No,
did they
like,
see his skeleton?
In the drawings, it's like
Yeah.
a beam of light. Like it literally like in movies how usually the beam of light zaps you
Oh,
up.
like a laser?
No, like you know how in movies like a beam of light pulls you up?
It's like
That, but instead of pulling it up, it launches him.
damn.
It literally zaps him.
Yeah, it zaps him and it sends him flying.
Bro, so if it was me, you wouldn't go back for me?
I don't know, bro. It depends. I need to see what happens.
I'm
Like,
good.
You want
I
this-
need to be there.
I need like the 1,000 ways to die examination.
Yeah.
And shit.
So they hightailed it out of there, right? They're gone. I guess they thought that they were next. But the foreman, Mike, they're all like, he's the main guy who's like, no, like we can't just leave him. Like we have to go back and see if we can help him. Like, because they all assumed he was dead.
Yeah.
Like the analogy they paint is like if you hit a deer with a bullet, you're like, oh, it got him. Like he's done. They apparently only had one flashlight because they weren't really planning on being there at night because they work during the day with dangerous equipment. You know, it doesn't really make sense to be working at night. So they get back, they can't find him. Like they're searching for however long, they can't find the guy. So eventually they're arguing over what to do, and it comes up that they should just call the police. And none of them want to do it. none of them want to do it. I think the official record is that they waited like 2 hours to call. But yeah, so but
They waited 2 hours.
but here's their reasoning.
Probably nothing.
No, but their reasoning was that they were like, they're not gonna believe us. Like they're not gonna believe us that an alien's
Okay.
gonna, like, oh, an alien like took your
bro,
friend.
Steve got zapped, bro. I know where he is.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna put me in a mental hospital, bro.
Yeah. So eventually, they're like, they have no choice because obviously they care about their friend, you know. So one of the guys named Ken Peterson, and I have to preface this: they're all 17 to 25. They're all young guys. So to me, I'm like, I kind of believe why they're a little like,
Yeah.
what the fuck do we do?
Yeah.
So Ken Peterson, I guess, is the most like, in that moment at least, level-headed, and they make him call the police. He calls the sheriff's department for help, and he's intentionally kind of vague about what they need help with. Obviously, so that he can get the sheriffs to come in the first place, because he doesn't want them to hang up on him. So the sheriffs roll up to wherever they were with the payphone, and they ask what happened. And the sheriffs even said that they all seemed extremely frantic and distraught. He never denied that part of the story. But they're being kind of vague, obviously trying to dance around the UFO part. But eventually it slips out of one of them that a UFO is basically the story I just told you. It slips out of them. And the sheriffs immediately are like, all right, sure.
You guys killed the guy, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. So the sheriffs immediately think that these guys are drunk, and they're like, "We're gonna search your car. We're gonna do some. We're gonna test. We're gonna check if you're drunk." They pass because they're not drunk. But the sheriffs, the sheriffs initially believed heavily that all these guys had killed or harmed Travis, and were just using the UFO story to cover it up. And so
Imagine if that was us, bro.
That's like a
As
fucking
brown
nightmare.
people?
That's
Well,
a
They
fucking
would have never
nightmare,
believed
bro.
us.
Well, because I guess in the reports, the guys who called the police, this is exactly what they thought was going to happen, which is why I guess they waited so long to call and were so hesitant to call.
Yeah.
So this is what I guess gives this the most credibility, is there is an official, like this part did happen, like it's on the books. The police investigated them and everything. The next morning, the sheriffs, the crew members, the 6 guys, and volunteers organized a huge search party. I mean, they went out up into the mountains where he disappeared, and they searched all day, and they obviously couldn't find him. The guys were obviously like, trying to UFOs and shit. But I guess during the search party, the sheriffs were like trying to coax it out of them that they killed him. So the sheriffs are going up to them and they're like, just tell us where the body is. Like, if you tell us, we'll cut you a deal. We won't go as hard as you as we're going to go on the other guys. Like, just tell us where you killed him.
I would cry.
I'd be like, bro, no, I swear.
I mean, in this specific case, I feel like I get why the sheriffs are like that. And I'm almost happy that they're like that, because I feel like if they were like, really a UFO?
You'd be like, well, who's running these fucking police stations?
I'd be like, it's that easy. Just say it was a UFO. These guys are like... So this next part is a small tangent, and take this part with a grain of salt, because this is a little off the books. It's more of an eyewitness account, I guess. So during the search party, right, Mike, the foreman, allegedly noticed 3 men in the search party, and they were wearing red jackets. He described them as having odd devices that seemed like metal detectors. He went up to them and he asked them what they were doing, and they told him that they were scanning for radiation. Mike, I guess, thought this might have been his, like, I guess he saw an opportunity here, because he was like, oh, like radiation, and the beam kind of came to his mind of like, oh, maybe like that's what that was. And so he asked them to scan him. Like, oh, maybe it got on us. Like, maybe that'll add some, like, I guess, cooperation to their story, right? So they scan him, and he comes up empty. But he's like, oh, man, it's because I'm not wearing the same shit. So he, I guess, goes to his truck, and he gets one of the hard hats that they were wearing. And they scan it, and the radiation on it's off the charts. Like, supposedly that their scanners, like, fucking flew to the most amount of radiation they've ever seen or some shit like that. Apparently... He said after this that the men started acting strange and I guess kind of ignoring him. and that they walked off, and that Mike, I guess, went to the sheriff and asked who they were. And when he turned around, they were gone. And the sheriff was like, "What are you talking about? I don't know." He's like, "I organized this. I know everybody here. There's nobody like that here." So thoughts on that?
Hell no. Bro, if I didn't think I was going crazy already, that one would have pushed me over the edge. I'd like immediately forget how to speak English and like I'd go feral.
What is it implying? Who are they?
They don't really go into detail because, again, this part I said take with a grain of salt because it's basically a one guy. I'm assuming he's implying it's like a government type thing,
okay.
Like a government, like a cover up, like a squad.
Not like, even like cover up, just like that the government knows something happened and they're there because they're like, oh shit, you know. In all these stories, these guys make a cameo, the Men in Black and shit. So I assume this. I just assumed.
That's funny.
I know, right?
I assumed this was the arbitrary like cameo.
Because I thought that's what you would say until you said that they were wearing red jackets, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
So who are these people?
I thought it was interesting that like he goes to turn to like the sheriff and he's like, "Who are the?" And they're gone. You know,
like Batman.
Yeah, they're
gone. They're that quick.
Yeah.
They just went down.
Yeah,
They turn on their cloaking device.
Yeah, because he said like they disappeared, I guess, around the corner, like in the trees. They just kind of disappeared.
They just ran.
They ran. They Michael Myers did out of there.
I'm dead.
So that aside, right? Going back to the shit that's on the books. Apparently, the sheriffs started to get really angry and frustrated because they were like, obviously, aliens didn't fucking take your friend. Like you did something, or something happened that you're not telling us. And to preface this, you know how I said the town really liked Travis? Mm-hmm. Nobody believed these guys. Like nobody was on their side. Everybody was under the impression that they were just hiding something. So they essentially just turned on the guys and were like, just confess. I think Travis's brother even like had like a theory of like, because when they cut down the trees, they basically pile them up, I guess, and they wait for them to be burned because that's the only way that they can be disposed of or something like that. So the brother was accusing them of like putting his body under and waiting for it to get burned. Pretty interesting theory. I feel like I get that part, right?
That's wild.
Whoa.
I swear.
Bro, because that's what I think about all the time. Like, imagine if you're one of these guys and you genuinely see something that's out of this fucking world that, like, no one's ever going to believe you, but you're like, fuck it. Like, maybe they'll believe me if I just believe hard enough and I just give an emotional.
And the power of friendship.
Yeah. I just tell them, and then they're immediately like, you killed your friend, huh?
Yeah, like, we know you killed them.
I feel like,
I feel like that's almost scarier, Like,
it's it reminds me of like purgatory in a way, where it's like it's a fate worse than death.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
worse than jail.
Definitely. So like I said, the sheriffs are pretty upset that they can't get a confession out of these guys because from their point of view, they're just criminals. So again, this part, grain of salt, not because it's not on the books, but because everybody knows this. But they hired a polygraph examiner, and if everybody knows that that's bullshit. Polygraphs aren't real. Like there's no evidence that like that works. So they hired a polygraph examiner to examine each of the guys separately. And 5 of the 6 passed. So people use that like, see, they're telling the truth. But you have to preface that polygraphs that doesn't really mean anything. And the 6th guy who doesn't pass, he didn't fail. It was just inconclusive. The examiner apparently kind of implied that they were telling the truth in the sense that all their stories were the same. Like he felt that it was pretty interesting that all of them were the same and none of them really slipped up. Like they never really gave conflicting accounts. It was all across the board. What happened, So I know we put Travis off to the side for a little bit. 5 days later, on November 11th, Travis reemerged. He apparently woke up on the side of a road at night. He said he remembers looking up. It was dark. It was raining, but he remembers looking up and seeing the ship and then flying away. I guess he woke up 30 miles from civilization. That might be wrong, but I think that's how far he was. But he was on a road, so he decided to follow the road. He said instinct kind of kicked in, and for whatever reason, he just started running. And eventually he hits like a gas station, and he calls his brother. Thoughts so far?
Damn. Wait, 5 days later?
5 days later.
What'd you say?
The reemergence of Christ, bro.
The reemergence of Christ? Oh, he
resurrected.
Resurrected.
Oh, damn. It reminds me of this other alien story I once heard of. I don't mean to go on a tangent, but it was this guy who apparently he was like driving, and then he saw like a UFO off in like the fields, and it was like obviously making like irregular movements in the sky, and then it just flew towards him, and it flew past him, and he's like, he looked up and he looked past, and he's like, whoa, like that was weird, that was trippy, and he just kept driving, and then he got back to his house, and he had been missing for like a week.
Whoa.
That like to him it was all like just one thing. Like it happened. He was just driving. He saw a UFO, and then it just went past him, and he was like, "That was weird." And then he realized it's been 5 days.
It's so interesting he says that because so Travis is malnourished. He just looks horrible.
Yeah.
Like he just looks bad. Like he looks like he's been missing for 5 days. So he gets to this gas station or a payphone, rest stop, whatever, and he calls his brother. His brother is obviously like, "What the fuck? Like I thought you were dead." And so he's so shocked that he at first thought it was a prank, but I guess he says like, I don't know, a password or some shit, and he's like, he proves to him that like it's his brother.
Yeah.
So his brother pulls up to pick him up, and his brother is like, "Dude, where have you been? Like, what happened? Like, tell us everything. Like, where have you been? Like, you've been gone for 5 days." And then Travis says, "Days? I thought it's only been a few minutes. Like, I thought he thought it had only been like a few minutes since the original event." So the brother, because this was big news at the time, at least in the town, and I think it made national headlines. But his brother was like, "All right, well, if everybody knows you're alive, you're gonna get swarmed by media." So his brother, I thought pretty smart move, immediately takes him to a hospital first. Doesn't tell anybody that he found his brother. He takes him to a hospital, and even takes him into Phoenix, not in the town that they're in. The doctor knows that who he is because he's seen the news, but he asked the doctor to be discreet. Like just help my brother. Yeah. So the doctor basically gives him a clean bill of health. They're like, obviously he's a little beaten up and stuff, but generally speaking, he's fine. And they find a puncture wound in his arm, kind of like a needle. So they drug test him. He comes up clean. There's no drugs in the system. So that's an aspect they can't really explain, I guess, that there was a strange puncture wound in his arm, I guess in his vein. Eventually, though, the media finds out, and the National Enquirer basically says, like, all right, in exchange for a private interview, an exclusive interview, we'll set you up in a nice hotel, like we'll get you out of the media scrum, and we'll pay for tests. We'll get everything done for you. Just got to give us an interview. But yeah, so far thoughts?
Damn, that's wild. To him, it was just like a few minutes and stuff.
Like time is a factor or something. It's just crazy with time, like time short with them.
I think. Well, okay, because like I said, like I like suspending my disbelief, right? I really try to empathize with these stories and really see them as if like they're actually happening, right? And I feel like, to me, it's insane that if it is true, how are they able to do it so seamlessly to where you're like, I was just here, it's only been a few minutes since the event happened. But in reality, it's been a couple of days.
Well, what's interesting to me is the like realer aspects of the story. Is for one, they're all telling the same story.
Yeah.
Two, there's a police investigation. Like they're looking for him. They did a search party and they couldn't find him. So much that they assume he's just dead and murdered, and they're trying to find his body. And he shows up 5 days later. If it's a hoax, that's dedication. So I give him that. I also think the image is kind of creepy. Like it's kind of like, I don't know, very movie-esque. He's in the middle of nowhere on the road, and he looks up, and then there's a spaceship, and it just flies off instantaneously. What an image. That's a cool image.
That was wild.
But now we get to the fun part, which is Travis's account of what happened when he was abducted.
All right, let me hear it.
Okay, so apparently Travis says he remembers everything up until getting hit with the beam of light. Like he remembers going up. He describes what he saw. He remembers he describes the same buzzing noise. He remembers getting hit. He remembers, all the shit leading up to basically getting hit with the light. So he says his first memory was, I guess now that he's been trying to process it, his first memory was he remembers waking up in what he thought was a hospital. He says he was on his back and he's looking up and he sees like lights and he sees like people around him, what he assumed were doctors. And he said he felt like horrible. Like he felt like I'm dying. Like I'm really hurt. And he said his first thoughts were like, oh, whatever happened, like my friends must have taken me to the hospital. And that's, you know, and I'm probably coming to right now. So he says that his vision was hazy and he was kind of basically knocked out. And he's starting to come to. And he starts looking at the doctors, right? And he's like, what? Like, what's up with these doctors? And that his vision starts to clear. And one of the doctors like goes like this to him, like this, noticing he's waking up.
Yeah.
And he's horrified because it's not a person. It's an alien. At least what he says, right?
Is there like a description?
What? Yeah, like what specifically?
Yeah.
What did he look like?
So I thought the image was creepy of the alien kind of like,
Yeah,
you know, like looking in on him. He says that like it's the common description of little guys, big eyes, big head. He said they were wearing I think red suits, like red or just they had something on.
Red suits, bro.
Oh, like those guys. I didn't even think that.
No.
I didn't even think about
He's like, I didn't even connect that. Imagine like people they're watching this, like, holy shit, I never connected that either.
No, but that's why I had asked earlier, like, who is it implying? Because in my head, it was implying that it was aliens. Like when you were describing it,
wow.
it was, to me, it was more like I was getting that they're kind of like investigating like the site.
Those are the alien
for
cops?
like for just like shit for just like
They're
what
like-
what other evidence or what other things can we take from this
That's
How did we
interesting.
fuck
to study?
up?
How did
To,
we
like,
fuck
study.
up?
We
Yeah.
fuck up. We
That's
gotta get
interesting.
That's what the aliens thought.
To like study. At least that's what I was assuming until you guys were like, oh, it's probably like the government, and I was like, okay, maybe it is. But I was like, but they're wearing red suits.
That's an
I
I
don't-
like the way you're thinking.
That's interesting.
I
That's-
like the
that's
way
it.
you're thinking.
Well, hear out the story, and maybe you'll think that a little more.
Okay, let me see.
So he's obviously shocked because he's like, "What the fuck are these things?" You know. He says that he felt unbelievably weak, and he kind of like, you know, got up frantically and kind of went like this, kind of like to push them off him. And he was surprised by how easily he was able to push them. Like he just thought that it would take a lot more, but he says he kind of just barely almost touched one of them, and it like kind of stumbled back into the other one. So he gets up and he's like, he's cursing him out, telling him like, get away from me, you know, like, what are you?
Get the fuck off me.
I would do the same.
So
I'd scream.
So he said, no, he says that. He says he's frantically screaming, like he's scared and he's like out of his mind scared. And that he grabs this like, I guess pipe or like glass tube, and he starts swinging it around to get them like away from him.
yeah.
And he said it started to scare him even more that they weren't reacting. They were just kind of like staring at him. They were obviously backed up and not doing anything, but they weren't like reacting or like, you know, going like this or anything. He says that it was scaring him even more that they weren't reacting.
They were like, this is normal.
So eventually,
Like valid.
I guess
Specimen 2040 shows exact.
I know, showing
reaction.
signs of anxiety. and-
so. I guess the aliens or whatever you want to think they are. He says that they kind of like walked off. Like they were like, all right, well, he's obviously like pretty upset. So they walk off and they leave this doorway. And he says it was literally like just a doorway, like an opening. And they walk down this hall to the right, and he's like, "Oh, like this is my chance. Like I can leave." Like, so he runs out the hallway and goes the other way, like not the way that they went. And he, at the end of this hallway, he hits another door, and he's like, "Oh, maybe this is like an exit." And he gets into the door, and it's basically like a small room. He says that like there wasn't much in it. I've different accounts, not from him, but from people. Some people I've heard people say it was like an observatory almost. But still relatively blank. And that there was this chair in the middle. And essentially he's describing a control room is what people infer. But he can't find any like doorknobs or nothing, but he sees buttons and he starts like button mashing. Like maybe this will open a door or something.
Oh, hell no.
He says eventually though he's doing that for a while. And a being walks in, and he says it was a human. Another person walks in, and he's like, "Oh my God! Like, thank God! Like, you know, like, what is this? Like, what do I do? Like, where do I, like, help me? Like, you know." But he says when he gets closer to the person, he said the person was wearing something funny. They're wearing basically like a blue suit, an astronaut suit almost. That he had like a you know how astronauts have the glass bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he had that basically, and that the guy didn't say anything to him, and he wasn't making any eye contact. He was just kind of like, blankly staring. And that part, I don't know. That part is a little creepy for me. Thoughts?
Whoa, no, that's trippy as fuck. What do you mean?
So you're implying that there's humans out there
right?
other than Earth?
What is it? No, is it implying like? Have you guys ever seen Prometheus?
Yeah.
Is it implying that aliens are just ancient humans?
I don't know.
Your face. Is that because
the aliens is okay, but the mention of another human.
Yeah, that's where it tripped me up.
I feel like maybe, I don't know. This is mine.
Go ahead, Julie.
But I feel like maybe it is like a human that just travels with them, and that's why he's wearing a suit so he can like breathe when they're like traveling around the world.
Well, because there's a lot.
He's like human relation.
They thought he was chill. They thought
he was chill like that. They're like, let's bring this guy around.
There's a lot of he doesn't really speculate too much into it, but a lot of people speculate for him. Some people say like, oh, maybe it was like a robot or like a clone that they sent to make him feel more comfortable. Like they were like,
like get him to calm down.
Yeah, like kind of like, oh, just send like that person looking thing, so maybe he'll like trust it, Other people say that it was another abductee, another, just a bunch of things. But he says that when he goes up to it, there's just something off about the person. It wasn't mean or violent or doing anything. It just wasn't like engaging with him like a person does. Like he just said it was weird, but he was so frantic that he just trusted it. The thing never talked to him, or the person never talked to him, but it grabbed his arm, and he said it was pretty strong, and it kind of just guided him down the hallway. And he's like, all right, well, I mean, I get human, right? So he's like, okay, and he follows. He follows it. He lets it take him. And he says they're walking down the hallway and they pass the room that he was originally in. So he's like, okay, well, at least I'm not going back in there. And they get to another room and they go down into this like corridor, and he sees like 10 ships, like the ones that hit him. So it's like a helicarrier almost. Like there's 10, 20 ships in this like giant room. Kind of, I guess, implying he's on the mothership. He says that at the end of the corridor, he's like, what is this place? And the thing, I guess, walks him into a room, and there's 3 aliens again. And eventually he says that they all kind of like jump him. They all
they jump his ass.
They all kind of
they jump his ass.
He says he basically tried to fight them, but they all kind of like forcibly put him on the table, and then they put a mask on him, and it knocked him out.
They tricked his ass. That's crazy.
He said after that, he just where the story originally picked up. He remembers waking up on the road, looking up and seeing that the alien ship was leaving. So that's the end of the official story, right? He talks about he himself was on Joe Rogan, and he talks like, I've seen his interviews. And stuff.
Oh wow!
And what he says that
get him on this podcast.
His account is that, or his explanation, what he thinks happened was that it was an accident. That he says that he might have just got too close to the ship and kind of like static electricity in a way, like in that same vein, like whatever runs the ship. He just got too close and he got hit by accident,
Yeah.
And that he thinks the aliens were probably like, oh fuck, like
they ran over an animal.
Yeah, exactly. like they ran over an animal, and that they were like, well, let's just bring him on to like heal him.
Oh wow!
And then they put him back when he was better. That's his interpretation of it. He says he says in retrospect, he was only afraid because it was the shock value. Like he didn't know what he was. But in retrospect, he's like, he had a good feeling about what they were doing, that they were just trying to help him out. The guys apparently all went their separate ways. Like they weren't friends after that. They all just never really talked again.
It changed the trajectory of their life.
No, it did.
No, yeah.
It did.
One of the guys, I didn't watch the interview, but one of the other ones I think does an interview, and I didn't watch it, but they ask him about it, and he apparently is really like fucked up. Like he cries all the time about it, and like he says that he's afraid to really go outside because he doesn't want to see that thing again.
Whoa.
I mean, valid in the sense of like, I mean, it kind of did. I mean, if you think you're going to go to jail for murder and then your friend shows up, I feel like that's a pretty gnarly experience.
Yeah.
He needs shrooms.
Oh,
He
probably
needs
will.
Yeah.
shrooms.
So thoughts? Do you believe this guy? Do you think he actually got abducted?
I don't
Does
know.
Joe Rogan believe him?
Yeah. What does
What does Joe Rogan-
old Joe say?
Joe just interviews him. He's like, what do you think? I can give you some like, I gave you what people say is the convincing part. Obviously, Travis's account, there's not really, you can't really prove
Yeah.
that. It's just what you have to take his word for it, I guess.
His say, right? His
He
say.
did disappear, so
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's what people say is what gives it its credibility. He disappeared. There was a police investigation. They did a search party. Like,
Didn't
it's
find
a
him.
pretty intense hoax, I guess, if it is a hoax.
What is the devil's advocate
The
say?
devil advocate, because you know who does a video on him?
Who?
Dr. Grande.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he analyzes his
good friend of the podcast.
he analyzes his the Joe Rogan interview. He's far more skeptical. Obviously, a man of science. He's,
Yeah, of course. I would expect as much.
The devil's advocate is that supposedly Travis has always been kind of a UFO guy. Like he's always been into it. That's what people say. He, by his own admission, on the Joe Rogan podcast, has said that he's seen more. Like he's seen, because I guess he became like more of a UFO, like I guess enthusiast.
Yeah.
Like, and if that genuinely did happen, I can see that becoming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, true.
So he became, I guess, more of a UFO guy. But if you're on the outside looking in, you're kind of like, oh my God, like, of course this guy got abducted,
Yeah.
But yeah, he says he's seen different ships and stuff. His account is that he feels like, he says, like these aliens have different ships. He's like, I mean, we have different planes. Why wouldn't they have different ships? So that's his I guess account. Another account is that they're all very young when it happened. So he's like, I mean, like it could just be that they were young and dumb and did a hoax.
Their
and stuff.
imagination. They're doing math or something.
Because like,
But the fact that they don't talk to each other anymore,
They're
yeah,
doing
that's
LSD.
creepy.
like,
And,
like it really damaged their relationship with each other. You would think that like they'd still be at least friends if they were making this story up.
Yeah.
But like to
"Are you
make it
good?"
up, and then they kind of just
Well, because it torched their credibility. I mean, it torched it really did. Like, even if the alien part isn't real, like it did fuck up their lives. Another thing that's
True.
not devil's advocate, but what I guess UFO enthusiasts love is that his description of like the ship and shit apparently describes or is similar to Bob Lazar's description of ships that he's seen in Area 51 or some shit like that.
Bob Lazar, background right now. Give a little context for people.
He's
who don't
apparently a guy who worked at Area 51, and he's, I guess, considered the most credible claim, or he has the most credible, I guess, But
Yeah.
he's a controversial figure. But interesting case.
know. I actually do think this one weirdly enough, like actually really mind fucks me more than the Brazil one, just because. For some reason, I guess because it's in America,
Yeah.
I'm like, I could see that happening. I could see that happening.
no, the part that scares me, but like trips me out is the human in the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
That part's a little interesting.
I'm kind of leaning on the theory that it's like a robot human that they use when
Like
Yeah.
a Prometheus or
humans-
something.
No,
like
Dr.
that.
Grande made a joke about it. He's like, they were probably like, oh shit, he's freaking out. Isn't that one guy a human? Like, instead of any, like,
I know. I'm talking about, bro.
like, go talk to him or some shit.
Isn't
feel
that
like-
one guy human?
I feel like I weirdly freaked myself out when I was like the red suit.
Oh, that they're
You can't get over that. Maybe that's the missing piece.
no, yeah, it's interesting.
They've been here the whole time.
Have they?
Maybe.
Side note, this also is, I guess, off the books. This is more of a UFOologist thing. Like, it's not really, there's no scientific, like, I don't think they've wasted their time to go like support these claims. Apparently the area that this happened in has like some weird phenomenon, supposedly. But again, I have to preface that there's no scientific backing.
Fucking Arizona.
It's always some shit like that.
Oh,
Right?
is
Supposedly the area that it's in, the trees grow a lot differently. They showed one of the videos showed that like in one of the cross sections of the tree, you know how trees have rings. The rings were really fucked up in the tree, like they're like kind of deformed and weird, basically implying that there's a bunch of radiation in the area. And he himself, Travis, says that he feels that there's something weird about the area that attracted the aliens. that the aliens weren't the one that did it, that they were there investigating or studying something.
That's why
going
they were
on.
the guys in Red Tooth with the little middle.
That's why I was like, when you said that, I was like, he kind of implies that. So
Interesting.
yeah, interesting case, I guess.
I also thought the other version was that like they were there to see if they didn't leave anything
Yeah.
behind.
Oh, if they're like, fuck, did we
Like,
kill
kinda
anything
fucked
else?
up.
I know, right? They believe it. Somebody dropped their stizzy.
And then when they when they investigated the helmet, they were like, "Fuck, we left shit here.
Fuck.
No, yeah,
helmet?
he also
We left
said,
traces."
he also goes on to say this again. This is more his account where he says that he feels that their lack of expression and their not really talking is he feels they're telepathic. Which, if you remember my story on
Last
The
week.
previous one.
the Brazil one, they straight up say it is telepathic. Interesting, I guess, that they kind of align a little bit in terms
Right.
of like description, but I don't know.
I'm getting chills.
Smoke sesh with
With
the
the aliens?
Yeah,
Do you think aliens have weed?
I think so.
maybe.
Probably some like weird Star Wars tube or something.
Bro, imagine getting high with an alien. I feel like you.
I feel like their weed, their
you would
odds are different, bro.
You would trip for sure. You think I'd be like, so bro, like,
Psychosis immediately.
what's the scariest thing you've seen in the universe?
Oh, and then they can just show you because they can share that.
Oh, you want to
God.
see?
No.
So do
Imagine
you
they
guys,
tell-
do
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys,
sorry,
do you guys,
sorry.
do you guys believe him? Do you guys believe him?
I gotta see how he tells the story. I feel like I'm pretty good vibe reader. Like I'm good at reading people's vibes. I feel like I gotta see him tell the story, and I gotta give him a vibe check.
I feel like it's hard to be creative like that. To like,
But based on,
I will say that there's a lot of real evidence that's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
Vote. Okay, you go first, Julie. Do you believe him? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Patrick?
yeah, I say yeah.
you believe him?
Because they both said yeah. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say what I said last time. I believe something happened. I don't know that this happened. I don't know. I only present these things because I'm a natural skeptic. I just
Yeah.
want to hear what other people say.
Believe them.
I really like that Brandon does these because he's since we were kids, he's always been like, aliens aren't real, bro, come on. So like I really like that he's doing it, because if there's anyone you can trust, it's someone who's already a naysayer, you know?
Yeah.
What was,
So if one day Brandon's like, I don't know, guys, he shows up, he's like,
This is the one.
what's that one
He's, like,
quote
sweating.
from the YouTube videos we used to watch, like in Halloween time? Is like it's just an
Oh,
elaborate hoax.
What do you guys think? Is this just a hoax, or did something really happen?
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's wild.
that is pretty crazy. Do you have anything else to say?
No, that's about it. That's
No,
the
that was
case.
pretty
That's
trippy,
the
bro.
case, yeah.
That was 100%
But it's
trippy.
just crazy how it's always aligned to a similar looking alien.
Yeah,
Big eyes, big head.
I guess that's what gets me and why I'm kind of a skeptic. Is I really can't wrap my mind around that aliens would look like that. I really don't think aliens would look like that.
Actual.
Like the big head and the
feel
black eyes and
Like
the
that.
like human body.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
That's
I
kind of
feel that's so-
stereotype. That's racist. Almost. That's almost racist.
You know what? I get what you mean. Yeah, like I feel like that's such a cartoonish way of like
know.
saying that's what aliens look like. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, that's so goofy. Like that to me when you said that, I was like, I don't know. I'm waiting to see like, oh, the alien was like
a
A
squid.
humanoid.
like a squid and like had like a bunch of appendages and stuff.
I
you know?
will say though that like if it is a hoax, the part where another person shows up was a swerve for me. When I was reading about the story and watching it, I was like, another dude shows up.
I know.
Like, whoa, that was interesting.
What
But
a
he
turn.
doesn't. But he doesn't react. Or
He doesn't
He's the
talk.
same in the aliens in that he's unreactive. He's just kind of like
No, I seriously think if that story is true, or in the canon of that story, I seriously think it's like a robot. Like I don't think that's why he said like it looked off. I think it's really a cyborg that they probably have to like you said,
like an
calm
alien.
down
Yeah.
the humans they sometimes kidnap, and then just like just move there.
Would you think they would try to recreate a human that way? Like it's just like an AI?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're gonna go to different planets, you probably want something.
If I have to put on the like tinfoil hat and like I guess go with the story, my guess is maybe they just because he says that he feels they're infinitely like more technologically advanced than us, and he says like by millions or billions of years. So if this, I wouldn't be surprised if it is a robot and they just kind of just whipped it up. They're like, fuck, I don't know, make a human robot, and they just printed it
They're
out.
just interested in us,
You
bro.
know.
Yeah, what's this with this fascination with us? That's what I can't
we're
wrap my
human.
around.
Again, he says that he doesn't feel like they were there for him or at all, and that they probably didn't even notice that the car was there. Or he says if they did, they didn't really care. It was just a genuine accident. Like how you said, he says that like It's like if you hit your deer with a deer with a car, like you're like, oh fuck, like, I didn't mean to do that, like, you know.
Yeah. Especially if they're that advanced and they can heal.
Yeah, you know. So they were probably like, my
Probably
bad.
like a coalition of aliens, just like examining, like doing surveys and shit, geography.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised
shit?
if they were a little curious. You know, they're like, I mean, while we have them,
they're
here,
like they're actually
While we
scientists
have 'em
studying
here.
other planets.
while we have them here, and just touch them. What,
Just
like,
touch him.
They're
Violate his ass.
Did you just fucking run over that dude? I'm like, oh fuck, like we gotta kill him.
Oh, they were faded off the space Zaza,
Yeah.
and they started tweaking.
They're just surveying the fucking land or some shit.
he was like, bro, I told you not to let me drive.
He's like, oh fuck,
Bro, this is my first time.
the whole world is gonna find out about us. We're gonna get in so much in trouble. He's like, we gotta do something. We gotta hide him.
In
They
4K,
took him
bro.
to
the jets. They're like examining the jet footage.
they took him to the mothership though. Apparently,
You know what tripped me out is that the guy has. You know, okay, let's talk about this. This is another part that I was actually really invested in, and I thought about it in an existential way. Is the part where he like tells all of them to back up, and then the aliens are like, all right, and they just dipped out the way, and he's like, all right, this is my chance to run out. I feel like me personally, I would be kind of like freaking the fuck out of like, I don't want to go in any of these rooms because I don't want to see some shit that's like not meant for my human brain. You get me?
I guess what's interesting about that is, in all the accounts of who this guy was, people say the way he reacted is very him. Like he, like when the bear story, apparently the story of the bear was that him and his friends were driving and a bear was in the middle of the road, and he's like, fuck it, and he jumped out and chased the bear out of the road. And so he's just kind of like,
he's
bold.
He's a very bold, like,
balls of steel
kind of guy. So if this story is true, and he's like, I was just like, man, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, like dumbasses, like, you know, they left me. I'm like, all right, I guess I could see it if that's the kind of person you say you are.
I'm sure also human instinct, adrenaline's going through. You're like, fuck it, like I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So I'm just like, when he gets to the control room part, and he says like an observatory, I literally in my mind, if I was him, I'd be like, fuck man, I really hope I don't see some weird shit. Like please, like my mind will literally snap into
Another aliens.
or like I look into an alien world and I'm like, this is too much. Like I can't handle this. My head just explodes.
Or I see them experimenting on other humans.
Yeah, or other aliens.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That should be wild.
Like you see like a two-headed human that they like made.
Some people say that the aliens did kill him by accident. Like that they just kind of brought him back a little bit. That he was probably dead.
Holy
They're
shit.
that advanced. That's crazy.
Any final thoughts on these aliens, bro? Whoa,
yeah.
that sounds kind of whoa. That came out kind of wrong.
Almost racist.
I was gonna say, my friend had messaged me because you know how we had the last week's episode. So he said, so I met a pilot from Argentina who came across UFOs while flying, and he said that he didn't believe him, but then he found like articles and footage of him getting like interviewed. So there's like a shit ton of like interviews on YouTube from like I think he said 1995 or the early 2000s, and then he supposedly was interviewed by NASA and like the U.S. government.
Damn, for real?
Yeah.
Bro, we gotta get him on it. Get his ass on here. What the fuck?
Wow.
He even gave me his name.
The
like,
band episode.
Jorge Polancio. I think that's how you say his last name.
Wow.
Shout out to Jorge.
Let's get him on the show. I'd interview him.
Damn, that's a future episode. I hope everybody listening is excited about that one. Try to make it happen. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
Knowing some guy who's supposedly seen aliens
But,
and like on like he's been
He's reliable.
like a journalist.
He's a pilot, right?
He's a pilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He works for the airlines in Argentina.
I'm telling you, aliens, UFOs, they're all just the government. You know what? I'll leave it at that.
Leave your UFO stories in the comments. Leave some, if you want me to investigate a case, a paranormal case, put it on the show, something like that. Leave it in the comment. Maybe I'll look into it.
Oh yeah, you know what? Really quick, while he's saying that, I know some of you guys have tagged us in videos on TikTok to like get our reaction. That will happen soon. I'm sorry, I haven't had time to do that. But
We see your guys' comment. We see.
Yeah, we see you guys. We see you guys, and we hope you see us.
Yeah.
But last week I did the morning announcements. Since this is the end of the episode, it's probably like noon. So this is the noon announcements. I only got 2 news stories. I want to know what you guys think about this. They're both pretty short. You guys have probably heard about this first one. Just in, Elon Musk's Neuro Link receives FDA approval to launch an inhuman brain chip. What, bro? What are you guys shaking your head for?
No.
I mean, if you
not-
want it, you can get it. I don't
Yeah.
mean you. I mean the proverbial you. Like, if anyone wants to go ahead.
I've lost my trust in Elon for a good minute.
Why?
Just like conservative shit and like the Twitter, everything and all
Dude,
that, and like how
yeah.
he's like muting a lot of people.
Well, I saw a tweet he had the other day. Because obviously he shows up in the feed all the time
I
because
know.
he's Mr. Twitter now.
He's Mr.
Um,
Twitter.
There's somebody, I forget, some scientist, but like, what's a seemingly simple concept that like if aliens showed up would be extremely hard to explain? And his comment was, "What is a woman?" You know, basically.
Really?
He puts
Oh,
he
boy.
spits a lot of like, I don't know, in my
Like
opinion,
incel
boy.
childlike comments.
he feeds into those type of people a lot, and I'm like, I don't really like.
Is
it
it true that he's gonna step like down? Didn't he like hire a woman or something?
But have you heard that's apparently like a thing?
A PR?
Yeah, it's
It's
a
like-
thing where
it's
it's
a-
like he like messes with like a business and then to kind of put the blame on a woman. Is that what you're talking about?
I wouldn't say it's unique to him, but it's an observable, like it's called something.
It-
Like,
yeah, it's
people
called
study
something,
it. People
yeah.
study it. It's not
Oh,
like
really?
it's not like something that people make up. But I saw it on Twitter. I mean TikTok, and they explained that like sometimes when a company like goes down, at the very end they know it's basically done. They'll put a woman as CEO to kind of get the blame off the CEO and be like, see, it's because some woman, like, you know.
Fucking
Took
Twitter.
over the business
And that she
like,
tanked it. Like,
yeah.
see, if it was a guy or like if it was me, like
messed up.
it wouldn't have
Mhm.
I
happened.
actually like Twitter.
So like a scapegoat. I do like Twitter
Yeah.
too. I think it's funny. I think it's really funny.
Yeah.
It's very unique too.
Yeah.
But I wonder what he did for it to kind of like
Well,
it's gonna like
he's
die or
he's
something.
he's like banned a lot of people and like kind of like it's kind of like bias and hypocrite of him to like mute people for speaking out against him, and yeah, it's pretty much the main thing.
I'm also not a fan of the whole buy a checkmark thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that really
Yeah,
fucked up.
me
I feel like
too.
that really fucked everything up. When he did that, I was like, bro, everybody's verified. Like,
Because
And,
then Instagram
subscriptions-
started doing it too.
subscriptions
Yeah.
and all that.
yeah, I feel like that really
It's
fucked
like
it
I
up.
follow some people and now they're doing subscriptions. Like, what? I can't like look at you like the stuff you post now. because-
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That people are shit that used to be free is now you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Let's go back to MySpace, bro.
Yeah, which will never happen on here. Everything we've shown you since the beginning is still free.
Unless it's the Patreon.
Yeah, but that's because that's
But
exclusive
but
content.
that's worth the
Yeah.
price, though.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
worth
yeah.
the price. You
That's
guys
different.
should
That's
definitely-
different.
Shout out, yo.
Yeah. So you guys wouldn't
Shout
get.
out, yo. Yoel.
Yeah. You guys wouldn't get the brain chip.
No.
It killed. Didn't it kill
killed a
like?
pig.
No, not even pig. It's killed like 600 animals already. Like, this-
But I was reading in the article that the reason why they moved to human trials is because the animal regulations won't let them test on them anymore.
damn.
I don't know.
So
I just
basically, it's killing so many animals that they're like, all right, enough, bro. And they're like,
I
all
just-
right, we'll just kill people.
I wouldn't trust
Basically.
putting like some neuro electronic thing in my brain that can like probably give me a spasm or like just shut off my brain.
Well,
or
because
something.
don't people criticize him for Tesla a lot? That like apparently the autopilot or whatever is actually really janky. That it causes a good amount of like that people accuse him of rushing it too much.
Bro, what did Tony Stark say? You gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet.
I don't know, but like this is different because it's the Neuro Link. It's gonna be advertised for like human. usage.
Okay. Set aside that it's Elon and set aside that it's obviously gonna like fucking suck and probably be really bad in the beginning. Let's say it gets really advanced. What do you think you could do with the Neuralink? Could we read each other's minds?
I think it's
No,
they market it
You
as
said no Wi-Fi and shit.
It'll
no?
probably be like radio, like static radios.
I've heard people say it's like walking, like limbs, like if you're paralyzed, maybe something like that, or like if you could Google something in your mind, I guess. or
Is it
something like
really
Be
that.
really
though?
smart.
Is that really what he's like?
That's what.
Well,
he
yeah, what else would it
says.
be used
That's what
for?
he
I think it
says.
just goes against all
But
properties of humans.
his thing is that he says AI is gonna outcompete humans, and that Neuralink is how we keep up. I don't know.
Okay, beyond because I agree. Like I don't fuck with Elon like that, but I'm more
But
in the sense of like I am pro like hybrid, like increasing the human anatomy into human mind.
I just don't. I just think it's gonna. I feel like the only reason people really kind of, I guess, shit on Elon is because people raised him to be like Tony Stark or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's how he gets away with a lot of stuff. But if I were to remove them, I feel like I just see like, well, what's in it for the person who's making it? And I just feel like it's gonna divide people more, like between rich
Like,
and poor.
isn't it like that
Like, I
movie
feel like-
Elysium?
Yeah,
say,
something like that. Obviously, that's
Oh,
exaggerated,
yeah, yeah.
but I feel like probably rich people are probably gonna only be able to afford this at first, or like the good ones, you know, if
Yeah.
it doesn't kill you. And then like if you can't afford that, how are you gonna compete with that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Imagine going to school and like the rich kid over here can just download all the information, pass all the tests while you gotta,
That is
you know what I mean? Just shit like
It's
that.
true.
Where obviously it's exaggerated right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel it.
I just feel like me myself find no need for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, why do I need it for?
You guys sound like old heads right now.
I'm not.
Well,
But that's what I'm saying. That's just me. I'm like, I'm not. Like, it would be if it helps with like limbs. I'm
That's
chilling.
cool. Yeah, that's cool.
There's probably
Like
other people
that.
that need it more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm
but-
chilling.
But for
Like-
me, I always go back to like what's in it for who's making it, because I feel like with a lot of things you have to look at it like that. Like the Boring Company that he made, and again, I'm not trying to, but like it's a good example where it's marketed as like, oh, see, it's like the future, like, oh, no more traffic and stuff like that. But really, it was just to derail public transportation. Like that's the only reason it exists.
Oh, I hate him
So
for that, bro.
I'm kind of like when I hear about this, I'm like, I feel like they're just kind of marketing it as like, oh, it's the future, like, oh, you can
Yeah.
become a cyborg and stuff like that. When I'm like, what are you actually getting from it? Because I don't think super rich people like that exist who are super just altruistic and stuff like that. I don't think that's true. I wish, but I don't think so. So I'm like, what's in it for you? Like, what are you getting? Which makes me feel suspicious, you know?
Yeah. I feel like the other part is just the fact that he tested it on animals. Because I was like,
and it killed like so
How would
many
you,
of them.
And,
how would
like-
you examine that though from animals?
What do you mean? I remember when he brought it out, they showed that like they were able to read like the pigs, like the pig
the
was sniffing.
movements, right?
Then they were able to predict its movements,
Yeah.
like pretty accurately or something like that. But I don't know.
I'm telling you, it's gonna become that thing where the Neuro Link can also give you an exact screen of like your memories. So like stuff like either crimes or no, it's definitely gonna become an issue of kind of a freedom. Like it's gonna become an issue of freedom because I'm sure there's gonna be a debate of does the government have are they what's the term? Do they have a right to look into your Neuralink, right? Because they have a right to look into your computer, right?
Yeah.
Do they have a right to look into your Neuralink?
Yeah.
And it's going to be it's a lot of issues like that. And even if they don't have the right, how do you know they won't do it anyways? Because
Yeah.
I mean, even though when they spy on us through our phones, technically they legally can do that because they passed the Patriot Act when 9/11 happened. So technically they can do that. How do you know something like that won't happen in the future?
Speaking of like the phones and stuff, I recently found out that some police departments have planes where they can they have like this certain device that, for example, in protests they can see who you are just because our phones pick up the frequencies from regular cellular towers, and so these planes have that. It's like a jammer, and that our phones recognize the plane that has it as like a regular tower, and they just download the data and see who's at the protest and all that.
that's why
So-
there's a shit ton of helicopters, bro.
That's why you gotta throw these away. I don't know. I saw interesting side note. I saw somebody on another podcast talk about how they feel like in the future our kids are gonna think this, like being on camera, being documented so much, it's gonna be cringe. Like they're gonna really not like that. So they're
It's gonna
gonna
be like holograms.
no, they're just gonna their prediction was that they feel like being online, being like recorded, all this like shit, they think it's gonna be cringe.
But
Like,
why though?
just because everybody that they feel like
2D.
they're gonna be the generation that grows up 100% on it. You know what I mean? Like we're not that old, but I remember not having a phone
Yeah.
I mean I have a camcorder in my thing right now. I remember when that was the thing, and it's more rare, you know. So they were saying that like kids are gonna grow up basically surrounded and covered in it, and they're gonna grow up to resent it and think that it's cringe and get off of it.
Me
People
and Steve
yeah.
were having a conversation last night about AI. Because have you seen that one on Twitter where it's Socrates talking to Bill Gates?
Interesting.
We were talking about that, and he was saying that because in our generation we grew up on like the birth of technology.
Yeah,
So would it be the next generation that grows up on AI, like the usage of AI?
probably.
No, yeah. Our nephew that we were talking about earlier, he's for sure going to know how to use AI. But not just that, what he was just talking about, just kind of like adding more to what he was talking about, is that the theory goes that like a lot of people in our generation grow up kind of becoming this like almost wanting to be this public figure, you know, taking the selfie, and then like some people want to be YouTubers, some people want to be TikTokers, people make
podcasters,
like, podcasters like us, and that they're gonna grow up around that and gonna grow up with the camera always in their face. That when they reach that teenagehood of where you kind of resent a lot of what your parents showed you, it's gonna be this big thing where a lot of the future generation Alpha is gonna be like, I don't want a fucking camera in my face. I don't want to post myself online. I don't want to have this presence of myself on the internet. And so that's kind of the theory, right, of how it goes. Of like the future generation is gonna resent technology a lot because we're surrounding them by it.
Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder what's gonna happen then.
Which is, well, because like you look at our nephew, right? He plays with his toys all the time. He watches like TVs and stuff, but he likes playing outside and he likes playing with his toys. So maybe he's already kind of resentful of the fact. Because sometimes I want to put a video game on for him because he's being too much. And I'm like editing or something. I'm like, here, you want to play this game? And he's like, no, like let's play tag or something. And I'm like, so maybe I already kind of see it, but maybe that's obviously just one case among millions of people. But moving on, I'm glad you mentioned the Boring Company. It's not about that. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. Have you heard about LA County considering charging drivers to use freeways to lessen congestion? Have you guys heard about this?
Wait, what? Say that
It
again?
came out yesterday. LA County considering charging drivers to use freeways and lessen congestion. So the LA County is thinking about charging you to use the freeway.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, they're gonna charge you to use
the freeway.
This is just a proposal right now, right? There's like
it's a proposal.
Wait, what does that,
they're
what does
starting.
that mean? Like
you pay a toll.
You pay a toll every time you go on the freeway.
Kind of like the Bay Bridge toll.
Kind of like, you know how they have
like fast track.
But all of them.
So they don't want me to use the freeway.
Essentially,
because they want to lessen like the amount of traffic. You know how we have the worst traffic in the entire world.
I think Texas has the worst traffic.
No, I think LA.
Texas has the worst drivers. I think we have the worst. I'm not saying a joke.
No,
I think we have the worst traffic
around.
though.
But like a lot of traffic's also on the streets, like on Sunset and all that. It's not only the freeways.
I think it's just
it's
that,
a proposal,
man.
man.
I think it's just that freeways are the city's kind of built around freeways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like to get anywhere, you have to basically use the freeway if you want to get there like in a reasonable time, I guess. So I don't know.
Well, because the purpose of freeways was what, to like get to places easier, no?
Faster,
no? And now it's like,
well,
I mean, there is a shit ton of traffic in them.
Yeah, there is.
But it's just like, so then I have to use the streets now?
All that-
Like, if
no,
my ass
you don't
can't-
have to. You can still use the freeway.
No, but they're
just
gonna
have to
charge
pay
me.
it.
No, that's why. But like, I don't have the money to go on a
Yeah.
freeway. Then it's like I'm gonna
don't
have to
wanna
use the
spend
street.
Yeah.
Like
I
also don't want to spend on going on.
But
there.
crazy enough, like that's not even like that's a valid complaint for you. But that's like the point. The point is that you don't use the freeway. The point is that the freeway becomes less congested, becomes less busy.
Because people who can't afford it can't use it.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean? Shit like this where it's like, I feel like, I feel like because the LA used to have a really good trolley system, right?
Yeah.
Like San Francisco, and now we don't. And it basically switched to you need a car to survive here and get a job. The people who can't afford to maybe, I don't know how much they're going to charge, but I'm assuming if the goal is to keep people off it, it's going to be a noticeable amount, or it's going to be something,
like
right?
75 cents, I hope.
I'm like, what about the people who need to take it for work, who are struggling already, and they're like, well, how am I going to get to work? Like, the streets are even more crowded.
There's
now.
a lot of people who commute to LA because they can't afford to live in LA, and they have to use the freeways to get to LA.
And now they gotta pay to, like, that's just ridiculous. All this just to not make like, I don't know, public transportation. Like, they've been
what is the money going to be used for?
Yeah,
They said they're already doing a study on it, that it's supposed to, they're going to release with their findings in the summer, and that's going to determine if LA is going to implement it, because there's already different parts in the world where they already do this.
And does it work?
I don't know. I don't. The article didn't. I didn't do that much research, but there is places called in Singapore and Milan. I think Milan.
Oh, Milan.
Milan. They have programs like this.
Because I'm gonna say this: if you're gonna make me pay for all the freeway, I want good ass public transportation.
Or at least fix the roads.
Fix the roads, or do something like,
or just fix shit in general.
Yeah.
Make shit cheaper.
I feel like if they put money into public transportation, they wouldn't have to do this.
Yeah,
because dude, if I could take a train somewhere, if I could take the train or like a good bus somewhere, I miss taking the bus. I like taking the bus, and it was easy and convenient and it worked well. I'd do that over driving any day.
Come to SF.
You know.
They are, and when I looked at this, they're working on new like metros for LA, but it's not people are saying that they should be working on subways because obviously just go underground and it'd be a lot easier. But they're working on building more trains, which some people argue is going to be like just more traffic.
It is going to be more traffic.
So it's like, but that's like again the point is that you're like, oh well, it's going to be more traffic, so don't take your car, take the train.
Side note, real quick, I thought. I might be horribly wrong, but isn't it the reason we don't have subways because of the earthquakes around here? Right or no?
I don't know because
you know what? I'll just fact check
they
it.
don't. They
SF
don't.
has
But they
subways
don't.
too. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
yeah, they
fact
have
check it.
BART.
Yeah, there's BART, but it also goes underground and like it goes.
No. That's why. But that's what I'm saying. And like, they do have BART, and San Francisco's known for their earthquakes.
Yeah, there's a lot more up there.
So I don't know.
Interesting. Wow.
I think they just don't want to go under the fucking skyscraper.
No, yeah, it says there's no general magnitude of earthquake that the entire system is expected to withstand. So it basically is saying that they're designed to resist even like the earthquakes.
That's good.
So
Makes you feel safe.
yeah. So no, yeah, totally. It's like we should have more public transportation. But unfortunately, if you guys want to hear more of our conversations, you're gonna have to tune in next week because this has kind of been a semi-long one and
kind of chaotic.
We have somewhere to be. We really do. We have to cut this one short. I'm sorry. Like this is a really good episode though. I want to give a shout out to Patrick for being on here. Patrick, go say what's up.
Thank you for having me, Steve. You've come a long way, and I enjoyed being a part of this journey.
Just picture him because we're sorry about the camera cuts. But
Yeah, everybody on the audio can hear him.
Yeah.
Julia, go ahead and say what's up.
Hi.
My sister's sad about she might have to pay for the freeway.
I'm just mad, bro.
No,
I'm just
understand
mad. I hate that shit. Just because I personally hate driving.
Let's just move to
and
South
I hate
Philly.
and I fucking hate traffic and like how horrible it is.
Yeah, I'm surprised more people haven't talked about it. If you're in Angelino or you live around the LA, it just came out yesterday, so that's probably why.
I think people gave up.
Yeah, people just gave up. They're like, all right, fuck it.
I kind of also gave up, but
Wow.
No, it's okay because everything's gonna be cool.
Well, that's our show.
Yeah.
Sorry about the chaos.
We're trying to figure it out. We're having a huge technological problem that we keep running into, but we're trying to really figure it out. We'll get it done because at the end of the day, everything's cool. And we'll see you guys next week.
bye.
Okay, let's go watch Spider-Man.